is what it is. What are you going to do? Going into 2020, we're just shitting our pants.
40 pussies in a... What did you say days?
30 days.
Okay, I thought you said like 3 days.
40
Wow.
pussies in 3 days?
What do you want Santa's fat dumper to slide down the chimney and expose? Not like sex dungeon supplies.
Well, I'm sorry if that's what I'm into. I'm not going to apologize for that.
What's that caught in my throat? Is it the top 10 album?
Is it finally the time? Is it time for
The
us
thing
to
people
unleash
ask for us never, except two people.
one of our most requested episodes of the year that people know is coming?
Yeah, we're always coming, baby.
Yeah, we're coming. It's
just takes
hot and
time.
heavy. It is that time of year, folks. Welcome.
We've done it. We've made it to almost the end of the year.
Oh, there it is.
Shit,
Beautiful.
that
You got to watch the
fucker's
video
bright.
for this. Yeah, that's going to
gonna be
distract me the
distracting,
whole Oh, God. And it blinks.
Blinking lights really
Ah.
give a peanut brain.
Check out the video. We're looking very festive for this time of year. We're definitely in the Christmas spirit
It's
down here
Christmas
in the
time. If
dungeon.
you're listening to this the day it comes out, it's like, what? It's 5 days away from Christmas
Yeah,
or something?
5
Whatever. If you're listening to this on Christmas, it's sacrilegious. Wouldn't recommend it.
Definitely
Jesus
recommend
will come
it.
back. If enough people listen on Christmas, Jesus will come back. So if that's something you're interested in,
And that is a threat, so don't let Jesus come back.
I feel like I haven't had an adder day.
I know. I feel like it's been a minute. That tastes good.
Yeah. It's always shocking.
It's always
never
shocking
not
how
shock-
good it
yeah,
still
it's never
is.
not shocking.
Because, like, you know how, like, sometimes you get a... Because, like, I know Budweiser's your preferred, but, like, for me, PBR, and, like, you get one, and you're just kind of like, eh.
Yeah,
You
an
know?
old one.
Yeah, this is never bad.
I know. Maybe they just haven't been alive long enough.
Yeah.
We'll eventually
They
start
haven't been
getting-
hiding in the back of the fridge long enough. It hasn't been, like, 5 years.
Yeah, I don't
The
know.
5-year well-aged Natter Day that's been kept
Or even
ice
just
cold by
enough
time.
enough seasons, like when it came out in summer, and
Yeah.
then you drink it in spring, and you're like, oh, it was just sitting in my garage, not even in a
Yeah.
fridge, so
Oh,
it's
no.
went back and
I don't
forth.
like gambling with those.
I mean, worst case scenario, I take a sip, and if it sucks, I
just-
throw it into your car.
I had somebody over at my house the other day drink one of the Tiger beers in the fridge.
When were those from? The case race?
Yeah.
I don't remember bringing Tiger.
You did
I was
not
drunk.
bring Tiger beers.
Oh, I was gonna say I was
I think
drunk
Matt
when I
just
showed
cleaned.
up.
I think Matt just grabbed all the randos out of the fridge and we brought them.
Smart move for us to drink not a single other
Yeah,
beer.
I still have all of the rando beers. I still have a bunch of Stellas from the New Year's party last year.
Yeah, still very specific.
Yeah,
Hey folks, it's the Dapper Dads. This is episode 124.
124, baby.
We're gonna talk about our
Quaint.
albums of the year. We'll get to it in a minute. We're gonna treat you to a little whatever the fuck this is.
Whatever the fuck we do, whatever it is, I'm not sure what you want to call it.
If
but
you want to know what we do, go over to www.thedapperdads.com. It's our website, a newfangled
we have things over there.
technological.
Everything
thing.
Dapper is over there. It is the Dapper hub, if you will.
It is. It's the only place you should be going on the internet. We will say you can leave a submission there, anonymous or otherwise. We've gotten a ton of submissions, and we will be getting to them at the beginning of next year. This episode and the next one are a little bit more
They're
specific.
very specific themed,
But we
thought-out
got a
episode.
fuck ton of submissions so far. And
Yeah,
we're
and there's
anticipating
some
more.
wild ones in there.
Yeah,
there's
there
some
is.
interesting ones.
Very interesting ones. So we're very excited, but don't feel discouraged. We will be getting to them. It's possible that it can be an all submission episode.
Yeah,
which
so-
would be groundbreaking.
so-
Great way to start the new year.
So it's possible that coming into it, it's just going to be a whole fan-based episode of all the shit you guys want to hear us talk about.
So get them in there. There's some very good ones. Let's see what you
Yeah,
got
let's see
at
what
the
you
end of
guys
the year.
let's see what you guys get in before the end of the decade.
There's the end of the decade.
Yeah, what do you want to hear the dads talk
some
about?
gems in
What do you want to
there.
hear the
Well,
dads
they'll
talk
be in
about
the
rolling into
beginning. Yeah.
2020?
Start 2020 fresh. 2020 vision is a joke that probably no one ever has made yet.
2020's hindsight, that's what they say.
So we have to wait.
I think so. Yeah, I think we got to wait till
Does that mean
2020
we're just
to look
looking
back.
at heinies?
I wish. I hope my 2020 is filled with me just looking at big fat dumpers.
That's the whole year. You're just compulsively looking at
I'm compulsively
Diapers.
looking at dumpers
adult
anyway.
diapers. Not like
If you're wearing an adult diaper, I know. Did you see that picture of that like beautiful redhead flashing the diaper that she's wearing?
no.
It scared me a little
I'll
bit.
look into it. If you've seen it, email it to dapperdadspodcast@gmail.com. We'll take messy adult diapers, I guess.
Drama will take messy adult
It
diapers.
doesn't fucking matter.
I will change you into a clean one. If you're a beautiful woman, I'm not changing a man's soggy diaper.
That's why I won't marry you, because you won't commit to changing my diaper when I'm not
I
as
would
old
change.
as you would think.
I
you
would
need a
change your.
diaper.
Yeah, 9 years old. I would change your diaper.
No, I meant when I get old and need a diaper change.
I will change you when you're old, but you have to prove to
But
me
I'm
that
not
you're.
going to be that old. I'm going to need a diaper in like,
But you
honestly, sooner
tomorrow,
than later. Yeah,
like
I
you
mean,
probably need one
if you-
now.
If you could give me a diaper, I would.
I mean,
try out.
if you could prove to me that your love is strong enough to last through the years, then like maybe I
You're
would
the
be
one that
more
needs to prove
comfortable.
yourself to me.
What?
Should we
Excuse me?
Should we put on adult diapers and pee 'em? Or is this the idea we outsource to fans?
I think we should outsource it to fans, and then when no one responds, traditionally, we end up doing it ourselves, and as we're doing it, we say this is a horrible idea.
Okay. I don't think that one could backfire as much as other ones. I would love to piss in an adult
I
diaper.
think you're going to feel all the piss in your diaper. Do we get diapers for the cabin this year?
I think we get
I
diapers.
think we get diapers for the cabin this year.
Someone's going to shit their diaper, though.
It's not going to be me or you
And
or
I'm gonna
Matt.
leave it in the river. I kind of want to do it.
I kind of want
I've wanted to take
shit in the
adult
diaper, throw it in the river
Yeah,
once
that's
you're
what
done
I'm saying.
shitting in it.
Shit in the river. You know I've been wanting to do that. Shitting underwater, again, I'm going to keep saying it. Seems like the best way to shit.
Here's
Fully
what I'm going to
submerged in
do.
water.
Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to bring a box of shits and giggles to the cabin next year. That's brownies, half pop brownies, half laxative brownies.
Okay.
You see, you eat what you eat, and you get what you get.
Dibs on the lax.
Nothing. Yeah.
Smooth move.
Yeah,
X
it's
like.
good. I'll eat all the pop brownies. You eat all the X-Lax brownies. I'll be high as shit while you're shitting in the river. It'll be great.
Yeah, but I need two shit. I need a diaper shit and a river shit.
Can you shit twice in one evening? I know you can shit twice in one weekend.
Yeah, but I mean, when I'm that drunk, I don't know.
Yeah, I'm
don't
traditionally not a drunk shitter. You ever taken a shit while you're drunk? It's
I
horrifying.
think I literally had this conversation the other day, believe it or not. I was very on brand, and I was like, I don't think I've ever taken a drunk shit. Ever. I can't imagine.
Took that shit under the stage at my first prof show.
Yeah. I've taken, one time I had what I think was heat stroke, and I'd been drinking, and I was throwing up, and then I started to shit and had to do a quick thing. So that's probably the closest I've gotten. Did not enjoy it. Wouldn't recommend it. But, there's always time.
Is what it is. What are you going to do? Going into 2020, we're just shitting our pants.
Fuck around and shit in an adult diaper. Don't mind if I do.
Might fuck around, shit out my fat dumper in a fat diaper.
I've heard that the diapers are not meant for full pees or poops. So
they're just meant for like dribble accidents?
Yeah, I think a dribble. You were right at first, yeah.
A
Or an
dribble of
accident.
pee or a dribble of poop?
Yeah, like
Will it take like some little poo pebbles?
probably. I think I could take a shit in the diaper. I think the thing is you don't want to like hang out after.
I
you know
think
what
I
mean?
gotta be in like a sitting position to shit my pants. I don't feel like I could just lay there and shit my pants, you know?
I was going to be standing up.
That seems even harder.
See, I would love to shit standing up.
Are you spreading or are you just
Nope,
standing?
just standing straight
with
up.
your cheeks squeezed together?
Yeah, I could do it.
Oh, that's why you need baby wipes.
Oh, yeah, I'm going in the river. I don't need anything.
I am not. Just you walking back from the river looking like you're wearing pants, but you are not wearing pants.
Yeah, my
Covered in
shitty ass.
mud and shit.
I'm like, I need someone to spray me with the hose.
The
I
cop
don't know
that
what
comes
kind.
over is like, nice Tarzan outfit. And it's like, nope, this is just shit.
You mean the cop that killed himself when he seen me emerge from the water?
Yeah,
with
the
my
cop who
shitty
blew his
ass?
brains out when he saw us all naked in the river.
Shut up. Call 4027-DAPPER. That's 402-732-7737. You can text it as well, and maybe we'll send
Maybe
you a
we'll
snapshot
respond.
of us shitting our pants.
Yeah, maybe it'll be a live video of us shitting our pants. You never know what you're gonna get when you reach out to us.
Live photo. So
Is-
you have to
is it
hold
gonna-
it and you watch the
Is it
poop
gonna be
come
me? Is it gonna be drama? Is it gonna be the both of us pooping our pants together? You never know.
out. Our bare ass cheeks up against each other shitting.
Our bare ass cheeks up against
Together.
a store window shitting on it.
Oh, that's beautiful.
Just blasting.
That's beautiful.
Just straight blasting dookie snakes at the window.
See, they thought we couldn't do it because it'd be the albums of the year, but we're really cramming it into the first.
Yeah,
5
see, what we're
minutes.
trying to do is we're trying to cram an hour and a half of the regular show into the first half hour before we get
and
into the
we're doing
album.
well.
For the casual listeners
Yeah.
that want to just take in the Dapper Dads
You
every
don't
week.
like music because you're a sociopath.
Because there's something wrong with you. You only like talk shows and Eminem for some reason.
Oh, you hate to
You hate to know
know
that
that
guy.
people exist.
Yeah,
Follow-
that's actually make that a shirt for me. You hate to know people exist.
It's too wordy. Follow us on Twitter at DapperDads. Because you can. You know what I mean? Free will.
Why not?
It's a free country.
What do you got to lose?
Follow us. Yeah. Make a Twitter just to follow us and then forget the login. Never look at it again.
It's the end of the year and you people already fucked up, but go to dapperdads.com/shop and take all that Christmas money.
Good to let them know.
Take all that Christmas money you got from grandma and spend it on Dapper Dad's merch. If you live in the area, you can still select the local pickup option, and it will be hand delivered by yours
Listen.
truly.
If you're going to order right now thinking that it'll come in time,
It's
you're
not.
Gross. I will
You're
just
very
delete
wrong.
your order, but keep your money.
Yeah,
Personally.
it's not coming. But if you got all that extra Christmas cash and you want to blow it, we still got sweaters in the store. It's who? Did you burn yourself a little bit there?
Yeah. I'm ready to fight this.
Oh, let's
cigarette.
go. Square up
Square
in
up
New
on a
York, I
square?
Millie Rock.
Yeah, buy shit. Buy shit.
Buy
Buy
some
shit. We have
shit.
hats. I don't know if we said that on here or it was just on the internet, but we have hats and they're pretty sick, honestly.
Got some
That's
nice
something that I've worked specifically for hats, and another product that It's still not happening yet, but as soon as the
coming.
technology is available, it'll be there. But hats I've wanted since the first episode.
We got hats, shirts, and sweats now, so you can be Dapper Dads from head to toe. There's no excuse not to be going into 2020.
We can make socks, but I don't think the quality is there. But if
you want socks, we'll make them. We can make whatever we want.
Your fat cankles will stretch out the mouths.
Might fuck around and make some fat girl socks.
Yeah, that's exclusively all we have. Scarves with gloves.
Bandanas.
Yeah, so you can be just fully
a Borat-style green
and,
neon swimsuit that just says Dapper Dads
all
all over
it. So tiny.
The mouth is placed.
The mouth is directly on the
placed
cock.
precariously.
Yeah, right in the
in an area you might not guess.
Follow us on Instagram at dapperdadspodcast, where we'll be putting up pictures of shit.
Just things that we find.
Whatever the fuck we want.
A cool leaf I found at the river.
Yeah, all our social media is actually gonna go dark for the rest of the year.
It's gonna be beautiful.
Sick of this shit.
Go to patreon.com/dapperdads, pay the money, get the shit. We say it every week. You know how it works. You get some nice bonuses throughout the month. Sometimes they're good. Sometimes they're interesting. Sometimes they have been known to cause mass hysteria. We are not responsible for the quality.
Sometimes you definitely remember uploading one on the time it was supposed to be uploaded, and then you go to upload the next one next week, and then you're like, oh, fuck, I never uploaded the other one. So you get 2 in one day. And people were probably like, this is tight.
You get a clump of bonuses.
Even our fuck-ups are gold.
Yeah, true. Now that I think about it.
I mean,
we can't do anything wrong.
What do you want from us?
What do you want? We give you constant free entertainment.
Constant free content. And going into the decade of never missing a Friday, knock on your grandpa's dick.
Knock on your grandpa.
These two.
See that beautiful smoke ring?
What is... Oh,
you killed it.
Deborah. Yeah,
that's got to die.
Thought
that's got to die in 2019.
We leave that in this decade?
Do we leave that in this decade?
You would like to think so, but you know for a fact, if I drink, it comes out. Depending on the
Are you still drunk? Or are you not?
Yeah, I forgot that we did that. We take a moment of silence for all the catchphrases we're leaving in this decade
and
that we forgot about.
Here's some roll film clip of all the catchphrases that died in 2019.
Yeah, just let it roll.
Yeah, just
let it roll. We just play another episode.
Yeah, we just cut in like episode 13, and we're like, nobody's gonna know.
The train one?
Yeah, nobody's gonna know. It's like when they played Old Krusty on The Simpsons over the summer.
Yeah, I would love that. Yeah, that's all the promo. Leave us a fucking review on an iPhone. Fucking do it. I don't know, dude.
Do it. You get something special when you do.
No, not anymore. Well, I won't kill you. How about that?
Yeah.
Is that good enough for
you? Won't be stalked by the Dapper Dads.
What do you want?
That?
Yeah. I'll stop sending these episodes to your mom and tell them, look at what your child
Look at what your son enjoys. Is this the type of man you raised?
Yeah.
He's supposed to respect women. Aren't you the guy on the show? Listen.
Aren't you a guy?
You're not my mom.
Real frisky with your mom.
Turns out it's my mom's friend.
Yeah. Well, your grandma shouldn't have mouthed off like that.
And your car was like that when I got here. And as for your grandma, shouldn't have mouthed off like that.
Christmas time.
It is Christmas time, isn't it? It's the most wonderful time of the year, allegedly.
Allegedly. It's a wonderful life.
It's
we made a funny joke about that one time. Roll tape.
Roll tape. And I just smoke cigarettes while we're rolling tape.
Where's our intern to roll the goddamn tape?
We haven't hired them yet. The one we hired died immediately. Lack of oxygen down here, they said, which I don't
Only
believe.
enough for 2 people.
Yeah, which is weird.
Very specific.
Just only enough for 2 people to record 1 episode every week and then get the fuck out.
Was a solid intern because most people make it down. There's obviously stairs. I don't want to break the fourth wall here, but there's stairs behind the camera. And most people pass out.
Fall and break their neck, and sometimes you write a whole autobiography on the way down.
Sometimes. We're still waiting on the Frank forward. Fun things no one knows. And yeah, this intern made it down here, and then they were just like, I'm okay. Because they didn't, you know how people are afraid to be weak in front of us?
It's one of those weird things in like movies where like someone's really not okay. They've been like chopped in half and they're like, it's fine. And then
it's
they
like
fall
me
apart.
all the time. It's like me choking on something and people are like, are you choking? I'm like, because I'm embarrassed to choke.
Water, give me some water.
Yeah, water's spicy.
You're dying right now.
The water's not spicy. Yeah, it's Christmas time.
We have no Christmas cheer. We have absolutely not.
I do have Christmas cheer. I realize this is the time of the year. I always think I'm not like a Christmas person. I fully am.
Oh yeah,
and it's
I'm
the
for
one
sure a
time
Christmas
of
person.
the year where like I go to stores and I forgive everybody's stupid fucking
Yeah.
actions in public because I'm like, 'tis the season. Like, you're just
Right.
a fucking idiot. As soon as it's December 26th, I'm like, I hope you die.
Oh
when
yeah,
you leave.
everybody loses that free pass afterwards. Because it's like you
traffic
can't go
people.
anywhere. You can't go anywhere and do anything that you normally do this time of year. Like you need to just go to the store for groceries. Good fucking luck.
Yeah. Driving
You want to
anywhere?
just go get a pizza for dinner somewhere. It's gonna take
Someone
an hour
fucked
and
it.
a half to
Yeah.
fucking get it. And then someone wrote "fuck you" with the pepperonis on it. And I'm like, I don't
I didn't
even
know I'm
eat
a
meat.
sausage, man.
I don't even eat meat. Why did you
No
put
homo.
pepperonis on this? And they're like, eat it anyway. And I'm like, well, all right.
They make you. They're like, won't eat it.
You got to eat it in front of him. He's like, I've made 40 pizzas today and everyone hated them and I'm going to kill myself if you don't like this one. And I'm like, well, buddy, you might as well just get your face stuck in that meat grinder because I hate this fucking thing.
R.I.P. Papa John. He ain't dead yet, but we all know it's coming.
I ate 40 pussies in 30 days. The quality is
That's
for
why his
sure.
wife?
Yeah. The quality has for sure gone down.
40 pussies in a... What did you say, days?
30 days.
Okay, I thought you just said like 3 days.
40
Wow.
pussies in 3 days.
Lockjaw.
Yeah.
I didn't
You got my jaw keep locking, just playing lock.
Don't freak out.
Can you imagine being in line to get your pussy ate by me for some world record thing, 40 pussies in 3 hours, and you just keep hearing
How much eating
lockjaw?
are you doing?
Well, it depends on how fast they come, I guess. I
Oh,
don't
you're
know.
eating to fruition?
Well, yeah. I mean, I'm not just gonna give them a lick and go. I mean, like you don't get a
40
free,
pussies in 3.
you
I
don't get
didn't
a-
say a lick,
you
but
get a
like
free
do
sample
some
out
math.
the door.
There's, you know,
I guess it. I mean, I hate,
like
you hate to hear it, but I guess it
12
depends on
pussies an hour.
depends on how sensitive your pussy is. I guess
You do hate to hear
you
that.
hate to hear it.
But you're going to get one that doesn't come off of oral
I know.
stimulation.
Well, then why is she in line?
Because she wants to
Why
ruin
would
the
you
world record
voluntarily-
because she's
why would you-
angry because she doesn't get to come.
So my
Poor
ex-wife
woman.
is going to show up in line? That fucking bitch?
All of your exes.
All of my exes are there?
They're like, yeah, we'd love for him to get me off at some point
Yeah,
before
we-
I die.
Yeah, I hate his guts, but he was good at getting me off with his mouth. The one time I didn't have to hear him talk is when he was useful.
Yeah, but no one wanted to hear that slobber.
No, no one wanted to hear that
40
noise.
pussies in a month is even impressive.
40,
Do you
yeah.
think you could do it? That's like
Could
2
I
a day.
eat 40 pussies in a month? A couple of them are 2 a day.
Yeah, a couple
For 10
doubles.
days, it's 2 a day.
So do you do?
So if we
you
count,
come out of the gate with 10,
so every week, so
you got to come out with the.
at least 2 every Saturday and Sunday. But I'm gonna say for like the middle weekends, we're gonna do 3 every Saturday and Sunday to keep it
See, I
even.
think you should just go
One
hard
for
early on.
Do what 14 in one day and then like take a couple days off.
I meant like for the first 10 days you do 2, and then for the rest, are we doing math right now? Because I feel like
think
we
we're
should
doing
be
math.
doing
We're
math
doing
right
math.
now. Well, yeah, you eat a bunch of boxes in a month.
Yeah, you eat 40 pussies
Can you
in
do
30
it?
days. Can it be done?
I think you could do
If
it.
40 women would let me eat 40 of their
Well,
pussies
call
in
for
30
it.
days.
Do 7
Yeah.
Dapper. Let's
see.
start.
Let's see. Let's do this viral trend. Let's see if I can eat 40.
This is the one that picks
This
up.
is. I'm just getting constant messages
Yeah.
from girls begging me to munch on their.
I come in
downstairs
with like a
box monster.
clipboard that
Referee hat.
no
The green billed
Yes,
visor.
yes,
And you've
yes,
got
yes.
like you've got an abacus and you've got the little
smoking
typing
a cigar,
thing.
and I'm like, I got them lined up, so
I got them lined up, Slim.
I got
Here's the
40
deal.
of 'em.
Here's the deal. I got 40 women outside right now. They've all been cleaned. As long as they're clean when they come, and I feel like it's got to be a requisite.
oh, I'm cleaning them.
It's got to be like
Aggressively.
it's got to be like how you got to have that like within a week an STD test or something like that.
Before you can fuck that one porn star we were
yeah,
talking about it.
yeah. I'm gonna need you to get an STD test. Yeah, I'm gonna need you to get an STD test within a week
Okay.
for me to. Then you show up. They bring you
and
they
then
bring
because they
you.
hate you, they go get an STD in that
Can
week.
you imagine hating me so much?
Yes.
Yeah, actually, yeah. Now that I think about
I
it,
think I'll go get me an STD.
I think I'll
after
go get an STD right now. Go get some head from a white man's daughter. Her lips aren't big, but I'm loving it.
I get a big idea. I'm loving it. Hi, this time of the Valentine. Forever.
She gonna airdrop me some booze. It's been a weird year.
Yeah, bad year.
All of them bad,
Traditionally.
traditionally.
Dink. Silence. You guys ever just think about silence?
You guys
Or
ever
when
just
it's
enjoy
silent, you ever
silence?
just think about killing yourself?
Yeah, you ever just joke about it all the time?
Do you ever, sometimes sounds make you cry?
Sometimes sounds are so overwhelming that you think it'd be better to be dead.
Christmas. What's on your wish list?
For Christmas,
Tell the
this-
people, because they have 5 days to get you the perfect gift. What did they get you? 3 quick perfect gifts for you this year, 2019. What do you want Santa's fat dumper to slide down the chimney and expose?
that fat dumper I was talking about earlier.
I know what I am getting you, because I think I'm the only person who was recently shown where it resides at.
Actually, yeah, no. if we're gonna get super specific on the show here,
I'm not telling any secrets,
we're gonna get
but I'll
very
drive
specific.
3 minutes away.
Whoa! This guy's out here revealing brand
It
secrets.
could be anywhere.
This guy's out here dropping brand
You know how much
information.
shit is in 3 miles that you could
There is a
eat?
lot of shit within 3 miles, but there's one thing specifically within a 3-mile radius I'm trying to eat. And I would like it to slide its fat dumper down the chimney. And
Do you have a chimney that opens up? That's the problem.
I have a laundry chute. Does that count?
We'll figure it out.
Yeah. Santa comes up through my laundry chute that exits in the basement that my weird friends throw bananas in when I'm tripping balls when I'm downstairs.
I don't know anything about that.
Yeah, I don't know who would have done that. So that dumper, a pound of weed, and
Allegedly.
It'll be legal by the time this episode comes. No, it
No,
won't.
we won't. Don't get our fans in prison.
Yeah, the fans.
We
in
can't do
prison.
any more.
Free Slim. He didn't do nothing wrong. Yes, he did. He did so many
He
things
should
wrong.
be.
Keep
honestly,
Slim. Are you
yeah,
kidding
keep
me?
him longer.
Keep him for so long. In fact, we have more evidence to keep him in there for you if you'd want it. We're his friends. We got the real dirt on
Yeah.
Slim.
I've got some pictures.
Yeah, you've got some things that I don't want ever getting out. That dumper, a pound of weed, and a really, really nice vinyl player. Finally, just a good record
Yes, the
player.
finest vinyl player for me.
Yes. 3 quick ones. What do you want? What's on your Christmas
fuck,
list?
I didn't know it was gonna come to me.
Well, duh.
I don't know. I have a pretty solid Christmas list. What do I want?
This is what it comes down to as an adult for me, because there's things that like I would like, but I know I'm just gonna like be into it for a little bit and then get bored. So I'm like, don't waste your money on me. You know, like do
See,
something
I
fun
do
with it.
all the things like throughout the year that I like want pretty badly, but I won't pull the trigger on myself.
Right. Yeah.
That's like my prime Christmas shit. Like I always have a bunch of shit because I'm like, yeah, this stuff like records. There's a very specific record that I want. I won't tell people what it is because there's only 12 remaining copies. I know that
Jesus.
much. It's absolutely insane. I'll tell you and you'll love it. But yeah, shit like that where I'm like, I really want this, but I just don't feel like buying it right now.
Right. Yeah.
I pretty much always want records and t-shirts. I tried to think outside the box because I hate like, I feel like everybody gets it where they're like into some shit.
Yeah.
And then that's like the only thing you get gifted. And whether you like it or not, like I love records and t-shirts, but I
people
always
just
feel like,
buy you records and shirts.
yeah, or I feel like people are eventually like, on just another record or shirt. You know what I mean?
But it's like,
I always
that's what I like. You
I know, but I always feel like I get very particular with like, sorry, my nose itches really bad.
It's all right. These are the subdued episodes where we can be a little bit more ourselves.
Yeah. Yeah, I hate like when people are like, I want, some undershirts for Christmas. And you're like,
It's like, yeah,
I want to buy you something fun.
I want to buy
know
you
what I
something
mean?
that you won't buy for yourself.
Oh, I need an oven mitt. No, like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, it's
I
like
want something fun. And even if you're like, I want more than anything, this one oven mitt, I'm like, I still don't want to buy you that.
Yeah, I want to buy you something.
I want to buy you something fun.
Something fun that you wouldn't normally get for yourself.
Or yeah, and that's how I
know?
feel with people. Like my mom growing up was super into like Coca-Cola memorabilia.
Mm-hmm.
And then it just became the thing where we're just getting you Coke stuff. And she's like,
Right.
I still like Coke stuff. I want this specific Coke thing, but it's like, for a year I've bought you just a piece of Coca-Cola.
I know. It's like my mom wants.
And then
like,
eventually they're like, yeah, I don't even want this shit anymore.
my mom wants like the same perfume or like the
Right.
next book in the series that she's been reading for the last 30 years.
And it
it's
feels sad. It's like, I want to get you something to
It's
shake
like,
your
yeah, I want to
life
get you
up.
something
know what I
that's
mean?
got something different. Something
you're
different
gonna,
you
like
wouldn't
you said, you're
normally
gonna
get.
buy that shit eventually.
Right. You know, that's
how.
It's
Yeah.
notoriously hard to buy things for people in my family because we've always been the kind of people who are like, I'm just going to go buy it when it's on
Yeah.
sale or something.
Yeah,
you know?
that's. I feel like that's just being an adult. Too.
I remember one year, a couple of years ago, I just sent my mom my Amazon wish list because she's like, do you have a wish list? And I just sent her everything that was on there. She bought like 10 things that were on it. And I
Right.
was like, this is like good because this is like the shit I know that I want that
Right.
I'm never going to buy for myself.
Yeah.
Because when am I going to buy this, $60 Twin Peaks book set for myself?
Yeah, that's exactly what I do is like things I've found and I like just won't buy. And eventually one day I will. Because that's what I also love about Christmas is I'll notoriously build like a solid like wish list of shit and give it to people. And then I'm always like, one, you don't have to buy me shit because we're all adults and I'm not the best adult, so I don't expect gifts.
Uh-huh.
But two, like once Christmas is over, then I have all the shit that I want. You know what I mean? I like just having a list, and I notoriously don't keep them ever. And then every Christmas, people are like, "What do you want?" So then I write it all down. And then after Christmas, I'm like, "Oh, a fun list of things. Now I'll remember to buy also."
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it's usually records and shirts. And I'm trying to think of what the fuck. Everything I think of is records and shirts. My life.
I would say my shit's like video games, books.
I need a nose hair trimmer.
Yeah, I finally.
Which that's
got,
another. That's like I don't want anybody to buy.
I
me
know.
a
I
nose
just want to
hair
buy it
trimmer.
myself,
I just have
shamefully in
too
the
much-
self-check line.
Because mine's on Amazon, and I'm like, yeah, I don't like. There's a couple people that can buy that for me, but like, I don't want this. You know what I mean? I don't want everyone like.
yeah.
One of my big things is a nose hair trimmer.
Oh, we got 14 people got him a nose hair trimmer because we didn't.
Not
know
even
what to
that. I
get him.
just don't like except publicly on this funny platform, but privately in my life, I'm like, I don't want everyone to know that I'm looking into a nose hair trimmer. Because I think I have too much nose hair, and people are like, I think we all have the same amount of nose hair.
At least you've elevated yourself past the point where you're just taking the kitchen shears and trimming your nose hairs with it in denial.
I've never trimmed it, but I don't think I have more nose hair than others.
I've pulled some that I've seen.
I've pulled
sometimes,
some,
where like
yes.
you look in the mirror and you see that one just kind of sticking out a little bit, and you're like, that wasn't there before.
Yeah, I've pulled some, and I don't think I have like an abundance of nose hair. That's a problem, but I think because of my nose and my boogers and all this shit, it gets caught more. So I'm like, let's just get it out of there.
Yeah, I've noticed when I trim up my nose hair, I'm like, this feels better. Am I officially an old man now?
I feel like
you're not old till you got to trim the ear hair. That's when you're old.
I remember the first time I saw ear hair was on this teacher when I was in like 5th grade, and it fucking freaked me out. And it gets bad, and I'm like, you're not even, you just don't
doing
know
anything about it.
I feel like if you trim that, you're gonna hear fantastically better.
You don't got a wife telling you to get rid of that thing?
He didn't.
Nobody in your life loves you enough to tell you?
Nobody loves you. Yeah, I've got like my Amazon wish list is like nose hair trimmer, boxers, expensive boxers,
undershirts.
No,
nice undershirts that I know are a good quality brand.
No, I figured out the undershirt fiasco, and I've stopped wearing undershirts under my t-shirts, which has helped a lot. I got a book on there too, which is a book that I never want to buy because I can't fucking find it anywhere to look at it, and I'm worried it's just old horror movie ads, like just ads, which I like, but I'm like, I don't want to buy this because how often am I gonna? This is how I am. Usually, I get books for Christmas because I refuse to buy books.
Yeah.
But then I want books. It's confusing. Growing up I wish I was just like toys and stuff.
Right. Like it just kind of like I wish I was into something more conventional that like people could get me shit for.
Yeah.
You know,
not like sex dungeon supplies.
Well, I'm sorry if that's what I'm into. I'm not going to apologize for that.
Yeah. I mean,
Santa Dumper's coming to town. You better watch it.
Yeah, I'm just looking for, or like buying people Christmas stuff drives me crazy. Like I get it, but here's a gift that's only good for the rest of today. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, oh, I want this elf on a shelf, and I'm like, for next year?
Yeah.
Like I'm not gonna buy.
I would like these Christmas pajamas for next year to
like,
wear the Christmas morning.
Yeah, like wintry stuff. Like I need, like some gloves or something.
Yeah.
Like, you got a couple more months, and it's gonna get crazier than you thought. But yeah, like this Santa outfit that says I only wear this on Christmas Eve. And I'm like,
specifically.
Yeah, it's like oddly specific.
It's like, that's an odd shirt.
I'm coming down the chimney tonight, and it's just got Santa's huge cock and a butt, and I'm like,
you see that sweater Walmart was selling?
Yeah, I did.
The snowman doing cocaine on it.
I wish that was somehow can we get our merch into Walmart's store then?
I'm pretty sure we could. Well, because it was like an online thing where you could just buy it on the Walmart website.
Right,
It wasn't
exactly.
so like I feel like we could start putting Dapper Dad's merch on the Walmart website and have
I know we
people
can
buying
on Amazon, but it's like too difficult.
Yeah, I don't want to be involved with Amazon.
Yeah, I also don't really want to. Except I just use it constantly. That's the other thing. Christmas shopping now. You know
so
how much
easy.
Shit I just get off Amazon. Like I'm a little irritated when I can't just get something off Amazon.
You're right.
I ordered something for someone, and I just haven't gotten any update about it at all. And I'm like, and it's from just some dude in Chicago. I ordered something for someone else.
Can't trust it. It's got to be shipped and sold by Amazon.
That's how I feel. And I ordered something for someone else, and it's like custom made by a guy, and he like makes batches of these items every couple months. And like I fully trust that he'll get it to me by Christmas because seems like he's got it down, but there's still no update of him even creating them yet. And so you get that panic where it's like, you know, we're 2 weeks away. I need a little bit of an update.
Something.
And I ordered something that was like, it'll be here like 2 days before Christmas. And I was like, that'll
you can
be
never
fine.
trust that.
And then it came like a day later. And I was like, Jesus Christ. So it's a fucking nightmare. Just Amazon, as much as I hate it, to order. Like I literally got like 12 Christmas presents in the mail the other day.
Yeah, it makes it so much easier.
I didn't have to do anything.
Like you feel bad.
Shout out to those terrible people.
I was
that
saying
I abused.
you feel bad for like everybody that's getting abused because of Amazon. This time you're all the delivery drivers.
Convenient.
But it's convenient. It fucking sucks, and somebody's got to do it.
Yeah, I mean, we're all gonna abuse it. It is what it is.
What are you gonna do?
So make sure to Amazon Prime some things to us for Christmas.
Yes.
Don't forget, you have to give us a Christmas present. If you've listened to 15 minutes of any episode, you're legally required.
Obliged to give us a Christmas present.
We will
We're
give you
your dads
Slim's address. Never mind. And don't send me shit in the mail because it freaks me out.
Yeah, it does freak you out.
I know who it is, and it can only be one person. and I don't need another pizzazz. I've gotten 12 this year.
Give me one.
No, I've been using them as
All 12?
awkward frisbees. Yeah, I've been using them all together. I put a pizza in the middle, and they
just
all
kinda
rotate.
passes it around?
And it, yeah, sure. I was thinking it's just in the middle, perfectly rotating because everything else is spinning.
I like to think it's like getting
it's
hitting a weird angle and it's just going in
Yeah,
between all the
it's- yeah, it's a
pizzazzes.
very
It's getting
confusing
shared by all those pizzazz
It's like the
pans.
dominoes where people go crazy, but it's just
It's
me
a
with
bunch of
one pizza
pizzazzes.
and pizzazzes. And then by the time it gets to the end, it's overcooked.
It's so
I'm
overcooked.
like, fuck.
Like the
It's
cheese is all brown and
insanely-
hard.
It's just like black smear
It's
on
not
the
like
last
it's
six
it's not
pizzazzes.
black, but it's like that way too brown when you've left it
Yeah.
in for like 5 minutes too long.
Yeah,
and
we've
you're like,
talked at great length
inedible.
about the perfect time for pizza.
perfect time to pull a pizza out of the oven. How come I can never get my pizza at home to get that nice brownness on the cheese they get at the restaurants?
I hate, and I know we've said it, but checking on a pizza and you're like, that's got another minute or two, and then you give it 5 minutes because you're stupid and not
Yeah.
paying attention, and you just got
burn
slightly
the
past
fuck out
it.
of it.
Yeah, and then you burn the fuck out of your tongue and your family.
And you burn the fuck
Your
out of
son
everything.
won't talk to
You burn
you
your
anymore.
fucking house down because your wife was so mad about the pizza that you just can't fucking take it anymore.
Yeah, so I burned the house down. It had nothing to do with the pizza cooking at all.
No.
Traditionally.
No, I was mad at my wife. How many fires do you think happen here?
I say it's 10. Frank says
Says
it's a million. We're trying to settle a bet.
I dialed 911 on accident and I hung up the phone.
We've been here for 3 fires this year. Yeah, well, one of them was real. And one I accidentally called 911 and I hung up and set a fire. Feels good to tell the truth. No, I'm
No,
lying.
no,
That's
it
a lie.
feels bad.
All right, folks. So now it's time to make a giant
Yeah,
shift
shit.
into the only thing we really take serious. For those of you who are listening, if this is the episode you're jumping in on, you probably turned it off because you're like, when are they going to talk about the albums they've talked about shitting their pants? Maybe we'll put a timestamp because I feel like that happens.
Maybe.
So yeah, if it's your first time, we've done this 2 other years. What we're going to do is our top 10 projects of the year, since it's a very gray area of what an album is now
Yes.
and what the fuck it is. So our top 10 bodies of music that have been properly released in the year of 2019.
Yes. And I would also like to stress along with this is just our opinion.
Oh, yes.
This
Don't-
is not a fact.
Don't
This
want to
is-
hear anything from any of you
No,
fuckers.
this is not meant to be. This is not word is law. This is not the final say. So
Yeah.
these are 10 projects that we have each selected based on just it's something that stuck out to us. It's something that we enjoyed. We're not saying that we're not even saying that these are the 10 best projects
No,
that came
not
out
at
this
all.
year. These are just the 10 that did something
we
for
personally
us.
enjoyed. And the way that this breaks down is we assign 1 to 10 number, 1 being bad, and 10
Like
being good.
unlistenable.
Just yeah.
10 is a classic.
10 is unbelievably good, and 1 is horrendous and shouldn't exist. And we assign that number to each song on the project and how much we like it. Take the sum of all those numbers and divide it by the amount of tracks on the project, and you get yourself a very precise number. We found in doing this, it can completely change it. We'll break it down as we go, but if you yourself want to do it, I think it's like the best way to do it. It gives you a solid
it's
number.
a lot of
because there's albums where you'll be like, this is a 9, and then you actually break it down in that
and you
method,
see where you actually
and
fall
it's
with
not
it.
so much. I think it's the best way to do it. There's of course flaws with everything. I've got a couple projects that are very short, some that are very long.
I know.
so it
I've got notes about specific
yeah,
things
we'll
with
break it
ratings
down,
that
but
come
just
in here.
yeah, for those who aren't familiar or for a refresher, our personal opinions. Don't tell me something's better than something else. Do tell us what isn't on our list that you think we would like. We would love recommendations.
And per usual, at the end, we will have a flashback and forth
Yes,
of honorable.
maybe. Last year, I remember us
was
being
bad.
tired, and we were just
Yeah,
like,
but-
I don't know. There was other good stuff. I would love to run through bad things because this year, I want to preface, has been shockingly bad for albums that we thought were going to be like. I thought this top 10 would be a breeze, and like,
Yeah, it was not. What happened to me with this top 10 is that there was maybe out of this, there was probably 6 or 7 projects that I knew for a fact were going to be on my end of the
Right.
year list, where I listened
Same.
to them and I was like, there's enough songs here. I enjoyed this project enough where I
Right.
know this is going to be on here. But then about
and then a couple struggles.
And then a couple of struggles. I honestly, up until yesterday, I was still debating whether leaving certain things in or taking things out. I actually changed a whole album out yesterday
yikes.
because I was going through everything that had come out, and I was like, oh, I completely
Back.
forgot about this. Yeah, it was back.
It's always back.
It's Beck's 2015 Grammy-winning album.
Yeah. We always say blonde, but we realized we were pronouncing Beck wrong.
Yeah. So
I did one, before we get into it, I did for the first time this year, on some of them, when I was unsure, I did 2 different days of rating them. Because I find some days you just love an album and then you listen to it again, you're just not in the same mindset.
Yeah.
So for a couple albums, I did 2 completely different days, gave them ratings without paying attention to the other one, put those 2 together, divided them by 2. The math that we don't, this is why we don't do math throughout the whole year, because all of the math is crammed into this one episode.
What I've actually taken to this year, now I want to say that I actually started doing the system because of Drama, because he has been doing this for a number of years. He told me how to do the system, and I started doing it because it showed me where my musical taste actually fell.
Yeah, it'll change everything.
And something I started doing this year specifically that's different is as soon as an album comes out, I will listen to it and then rate it that way. So I give it the first listen rating, and then about a month or so afterwards, I'll give it another listen and give it a rating, and that'll let me know.
That is smart.
Because
that's another flaw that people have pointed out is some albums come out at the beginning of the year, some albums came out a week ago, whatever it might be. Nothing's a perfect system.
No,
again,
this is literally just where we are as of this date and time.
Yeah.
This is how we feel about the albums that have come out this year.
Because that's what I always want to do, and maybe one year we'll eventually do it, is reflect on last year. This episode is going to be long, if you haven't already noticed.
It's going to be long.
It happens, and we're exhausted by the end of it. And so I always want to reflect on like the previous year, because there are a lot of albums that I look back and I'm like, maybe that wouldn't have even made it because I don't listen to it anymore. You know what I mean?
Right.
There's no perfect system. I get this. This is one of the topics of discussion people have with me in person most, is the flaws in this or questions about the albums. Like we said, it's all very subjective. There's never going to be a good way to do it. I think we've refined it as good as we can. So let's fucking get in.
Let's fucking go.
Do you have a weird one that doesn't have a number? Did you do that?
I actually ended up giving that one a ranking, and I have an explanation for why I gave that one a ranking.
Who wants to go first?
Rock, paper, scissors really quick. See who goes first.
If I don't even care about the outcome, but I don't want to lose.
1, 2, 3, shoot.
Yes.
Out of 3?
Yeah, fuck it. Oh my god, I hate this. Straight rock. I did straight rock 3 times, baby, and I won. I don't even care about winning. So in at number 10, Young Thug, So Much Fun, with a ranking of 6.84. Debut studio album. See, I leave it very specific. Except I might round because it's, you know what I mean? It's crazy. I should just be like 6.844236.
My bottom 5 were so close, some of them, that I couldn't get that specific.
I've had some close ones.
Like I have a tie. I almost had a tie, and then I went back through and listened to both projects again to break that tie. We put so much work into this, and I don't think you guys understand.
We truly do, and it's not appreciated. Yeah, that's the one thing. Let us know what you listen to from this. We both have pretty vast musical tastes.
And very different
lists. And we'll point out things.
Yeah.
We're going to break down things. We won't be too ridiculous with it, but I feel in both of our lists.
Swipe to us being ridiculous for the rest
4
of the
hours
episode.
later. I think there is things in both of our lists. I'm assuming. I don't know your list. You don't know mine. When we
went in completely blind
sealed.
this year. This is fun.
Sealed. They're legally sealed. But I feel like there's something for everybody. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Anyway, Young Thug, So Much Fun, 6.84. Debut studio album, which is weird
an odd
to me
thing to
because he's
think,
got like 12 projects.
Yeah.
So this is his official first album. It's fucking long. It's 19 songs long. That's too many songs.
Which is part of the problem that's been happening with albums the last couple of years because of streaming.
Specifically rap albums.
Yeah, specifically.
The thing is chocked fucking full of features too, which there's too many features. Some of them are good. Some of them are so bad. Specifically the fucking MGK thing.
Yeah.
Which that's what I had to rate because it came out without that verse.
And it was perfect
like, great,
without it.
Good
Yeah.
song. It's added on. That's what I'm counting. And specifically, the song that I gave the lowest score to out of anything on this list is the song with Nav. That thing is so fucking
Everything
stupid.
with Nav is fucking bad.
If that song wasn't on there, this would probably be up at least 2 spots. But regardless,
was that the song you were talking about that really fucked
Boy Back
everything?
with got my baggity bag, got my nappity.
I don't even. I listened to it once and didn't listen to it again.
I did listen to it to score this, and literally before that, I was like, "Oh, this is better." Initially, the album I wasn't head over heels with it. Thug traditionally has never released a classic album. Hottest take of my life, but
hot take, but it's true.
He just doesn't make great albums.
He's a legend.
One of the best artists of all time.
Possibly the GOAT.
Yeah, weird features. not a fantastic project, still very good. Would be bigger if that fucking
I would say
song
it's
wasn't
still
on it.
Young Thug though. It's still.
And the more going back through it, because it wasn't even going to be on my list, listen back to it to see if it made the list. It definitely did. Like, it is a solid project. My favorite songs, What's the Move with Uzi is fucking gorgeous.
So good.
Mannequin Challenge with Juice WRLD, R.I.P. Juice WRLD. I love that's probably my favorite song on the project. And then the first song, Just How It Is. Those three are fucking bangers. A lot of the other stuff's good. There's some filler.
What about Sup Mate?
Submate is one of the most comically fun songs I've ever heard, where they both just get Future and Thug get so incoherent and absolutely
weird.
absurd. It's not a good song, but it's incredible. If that makes sense.
Like if you appreciate them for who they are, you'll
just
like
the
that song.
audacity of the fact that that song exists is. I gave that song probably like a 7 or 8. It's a good song.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a Thug project. It's good. It's bad. It's definitely worth checking out. Those songs I listed are by far the best. It is what it is.
Coming in at number 10 for me, and this actually got bumped down from number 9 to number 10 from a last minute entry that came in. Pony by Orville Peck. Now he's a new artist that just came out this year. He's blown up substantially quite a bit. He's got a unique image to him. He dresses up in like vintage cowboy outfits, like very loud cowboy outfits, but has a Lone Ranger mask with lingerie frills on it. Yeah. So immediately I saw him before I heard anything about him, and once again, it's just a great marketing thing because I saw it and I'm like, "What the fuck is this?" You know.
I think I did the same thing.
And the album, I can really just only describe it as what I do a lot with music is it's called Frankensteining, where I take like two things to describe the one thing that it is. This is very much it's a nod to classic sad country songs, like classic country, not like outlaw country or hillbilly country like that. Sort of like that George Jones and Conway Twitty, like very lonesome, sad, kind of Chris Isaac sounding music, mixed with almost what I want to say is like not new wave, but very much like the Smiths, Joy Division, just that very, because he sings in a lower
Sad Bastard.
Yeah, like really just a lower register that complements the music very well. But the first one of the standout songs from the project is the opening track, Dead of Night. He has like a great, it's a yodel on there, but it's done in such a tasteful way that you're like, this is just like sad, I guess you call it almost like shoegaze country music. You know, it has like a fun country spirit to it. There's sort of like a Western theme to all the lyrics and everything. So it's like, it's almost very modern country music. It's like, it's like a fun hat nod to classic country while still maintaining the integrity of what it really is. Now, that being said, it's not really something that translates well into a whole album's worth of material all the time. Like as I'm listening to it, I remember being, you know, really impressed with the project at first because I was like, this is something unique, it's different, it's new. But after a couple of listens, you're like, I get it.
The novelty wears off.
I get it for what it is.
Yeah.
You know, and at a point, it almost seems like this. The image and the culture that he's creating is almost bigger than what he's doing with his music, because at this point he's got fan art contests on Instagram every week where it's like the Orville of the week or whatever, and he's on like all these YouTube shows and like TV shows just because of like who he is. And part of his message is and this is from the man himself, it's gay friendly cowboy music. So he's very gay, he's inclusive as to the culture he brings to the show, so it's meant to be more of an inclusive country audience for what you're going for. So at a point you almost have to go, you know, is the art just an extension of this movement that he's doing, or is the focus on the art? Regardless, the album came in with a 6.5 for me, because while I said it does wear down after a couple of listens, it's still a lot of fun to listen to it, you know, because as a musician, especially as a musician, you know, because we both have a secret love for old country music, it turns out. And just being just being able to hear those like subtle nods to like older country songs and stars.
That's my biggest problem with new country.
Right.
It's not even the same thing as
so if you like new country, this definitely won't be for you. But if you like sort of indie rock, sort of shoegaze and new wave, but you're looking for something a little different, maybe some different kind of storytelling, because lyric wise,
what about me and my love for Brad Paisley?
If you like Brad Paisley, you're not going to fucking like this. That's all there is to it.
All right, coming in at number 9 through 1 for me, Brad Paisley's discography.
The top 3 songs I could comment from the project to check out, just for if you're interested in it, look up Dead of Night, Kansas Remembers Me Now, and Nothing Fades Like the Light. That is a beautiful closer to the album. It's one of those perfect closing songs. you hear. So, yep, coming in at number 10 is Pony by Orville Peck with a 6.5.
Beautiful. Coming in at number 9 for me is Valet, Running Rich, at a 7. I was really anticipating this would be the year where I would be like, Valet's debut album.
In fact, I feel like on the review show last year, we talked about how this was going to be the year of Valet.
Well, we all thought that, and now I don't think any year will be the year of Valet.
Unfortunately. Some things have come to light.
Yeah, it's a short EP. I think it's 7 songs. It had one of the worst rollouts of anything, as traditionally with Valet.
I think clocks in at like 15 minutes.
Yeah, it's very short. Of course, his songs are notoriously short, but it was just randomly dropped on Audio Mac one day.
Yeah, I had to download an app just to listen to it, and it was mastered horribly.
Yeah, it is definitely I downloaded it off of Audio Mac, and the file names were like what a studio gives you, like rough draft 118,
right?
Which the songs are so old anyway based off that. It's got a bunch of features on it. Yeah, it sounded like dog shit, and then it was taken down because he definitely just released it one day, and then it was remastered and sounds better. A song that didn't need to be added was added.
Yeah.
A G Herbo line was removed poorly.
Yeah.
Just very weird traditional Valet fashion, not done well.
Yeah.
The project itself is good. It isn't great. You know what I mean? It's definitely not like
it's Valet, so it's good.
Valet shouldn't be number 9 on my list. Like obviously that speaks for itself.
I was actually kind of shocked when you just said it's number 9.
I didn't think it was gonna make it, honestly, because I just didn't.
And it didn't make it for me.
Yeah, I didn't feel
like
it's not a great project, and it's short. But then listening to it and ranking it, it did end up coming in.
Because at the end of the day, it's still Valet, because I actually gave it a listen because it was a contender for my list, and I was like, this is good, it's still Valet, but like if we're talking about projects and albums, it just falls kind of flat. Right.
And yeah, that's my favorite songs are Ice Attack Prequel and Pepsi. Only those 2 songs are like great. There's other good songs on it. There's a couple songs that are just like,
but I mean, there's no VTL.
No, not at all.
There's no 216.
That's what I mean. Yeah, those
there's
2
no
songs
Skinny,
are the best, and none of them like stand out. Some of the feature with
Vic
King
Mensa,
Louis
Louis,
like,
G Herbo.
Yeah, the G Herbo one's good. The Vic Mensa one's terrible, and he's just doing the 216 flow, and that song's clearly super old and doesn't make sense now. The King Louis one sounds like his verse sounds. It's not even verse. Like the chorus, it's so
it's just
sounds
weird,
audibly bad. But yeah, it has its moments. I would say if you're gonna check it out, only those 2 songs would really matter.
I mean,
and
honestly,
if you're gonna check out Valet,
you might as well just listen to everything. Spend an hour and you can listen to his whole discography on Spotify.
Listen to Good Job You Found Me, 216s, obviously VTL, Skinny,
awesome.
Like he's
About
great.
You.
This isn't a great project, honestly, and like I said, I didn't even think it would make it. But yeah, number 9, Valet, Running Rich at a 7.
Coming in at number 9 for me, this was a last minute contender where I was going through my honorable mentions list and I was like, I'm going to give this one a listen again just to see. And I was pleasantly surprised with what I heard. So I actually ended up dropping the album Magdalene by FKA Twigs off of my list for Mirrorland by Earth Gang coming in at number 9. Yeah.
I still haven't listened to it.
It's very interesting, because a lot of things I hear about Earth Gang is they're getting
they're the new Outkast.
Yes, they're getting a lot of comparisons to being the new Outkast because they're from Atlanta, and then they have the one guy who's more serious about the raps, and the one guy doing the
very eccentric.
But they're both very eccentric. If you look at some of their music videos, like look at them doing Up on their Color
Show is incredible and
so
doesn't
good.
Translate to the recorded version whatsoever.
Right, and that's why this album ranked kind of low for me because it's like when you see them live and some of their other stuff, it's like these guys have the potential to really pop off and do something good. And there's a lot of moments on this album that really shine with that. I would honestly say the first, it's another long album. It's got about 16, 17 songs on it. And it has a T-Pain verse on there. It's a fun song called Tequila that's got T-Pain on it. It's got kind of a Spanish vibe to it, but almost in a cheesy way, not in like a fun kind of way, because there's a lot of Latin influence coming into pop music these days.
Right.
And this just seems more kind of like a corny, like, oh, she loves tequila, she's a señorita kind of song, you know? But I mean, this album has some straight bangers on it. It's got Up, it's got Top Down, it has Bank, which is one of my favorite rap songs that's come out this year. But it also has some really soft, subdued moments in it. There's a song on here called Fields, which is one of my favorite chill songs that came out this year. Because while they do have a tendency to have that very fast cadence, they have a good flow. The one guy is on Down Bad from
Right.
Revenge of the Dreamers 3, and that flow is just
Yeah.
ridiculously impeccable. It's
Yeah.
like you don't even hear him stop to take a breath when he's doing that, you know? And there's a lot of that on this album where the flows are impressive, the songs are impressive, but as a cohesive project, it just doesn't seem like it breathes very well.
Yeah.
You know, because it's like you'll have a clump of like 3 or 4 bangers, and then like 2 or 3 quiet songs, and then like another banger, and then 2 more quiet songs, and then 3 bangers, and you're like, it just didn't seem. It seems like because this is their debut album. They put out a lot of EPs and projects, and kind of it just seems like they took a lot of recorded material. This has "Proud of You" with Young Thug on there.
I love that song.
A great song, but it came out substantially before the album did.
Right.
So this is one of those things where it almost feels like they just kind of put a slew of songs together to create an album without a cohesive concept. But that doesn't take away from a lot of the quality of the artistry for me, because there is some, like I said, some fantastic songs on here. This is one of those albums where I'm listening to it and I'm like, some of these songs are kind of forgettable and skippable, but when the good songs come on, I'm like, this is what I'm like, this is why it's so good. Like I said, definitely check out Top Down, Banks, Feels, and Up. Those would be the 4, I would say, that personify the project very well.
Watch that Up Color show.
The Up Color show is incredible. I just actually watched that right before you came to pick me up today, because I was just going through my channel. The album coming in at a 6.6 for me, right above that 6.5 from Orville Peck. So like I said, some of these guys, these bottom 5 were all 1 point away from each other. 6.5, 6.6, 6.7, 6.8. But yeah, like I said, definitely listen to some of their earlier projects to get more of a cohesive feel for who they are. But for a debut album, this shows a lot of promise. I'd definitely be interested to see what they put out in the future based off of this, because it's one of those things where it's going to go one of two ways. Either they pick up on the strong points and they really realize where their strengths are by performing these songs live, or they just kind of keep falling into this weird, obscure, odd hip-hop thing. And that's what I'm afraid of, too. But I'm not saying they have the potential to be the next Outkast, but they definitely have potential to make a mark in the rap world as a unique conglomerate of artistry that has a unique voice and something interesting to say.
All right, number 8 from me is DaBaby, Baby on Baby, at a 7.15. It was very difficult to pick between this and Kirk. I knew one of them was going to make it. We both probably could have made it, but I just didn't want two DaBaby suppers.
I don't like the idea of you having 2 DaBaby top 10s in 1 year.
Yeah, honestly, the biggest problem, like if you were to take Baby on Baby and Kirk and take the best songs and make them into one project, it would be like, album. Yeah, it would be a classic rap album. Like DaBaby in himself in this year, like
I say, can we say
insane.
Rapper of the Year?
Yes.
Just for the come up and everything that he's had this year, because good lord.
Because I found Walker Texas Ranger, which I think that's why this made it.
You showed me Walker Texas Ranger.
Tapped onto this album.
Yeah, it was
after
because it was also on the other projects he did. It was on the one with the orange cover. That came out.
Blank.
Yeah, it was on Blank, and then this came out, and it was like thrown on at the end.
It on,
just for the streaming or whatever.
But yeah, I found Walker Texas Ranger in January, and I was like, wow, I think this dude has something.
And you sent it to me, and you were like,
showed it to everybody. And
I can still remember sitting on it was like January.
Yeah,
you showed it to me because I remembered it was freezing outside. And my girlfriend had come over, and I was like, you need to watch this. And I like showed her the video, and of course she was like, okay.
I saw it on Reddit, and just a song called Walker Texas Ranger piqued my interest enough. And then the visuals, his visuals, of course, have been absolutely insane. Real Goats, that makes all of his videos. Now they're starting to get like not as good, but like those early ones and like some of the fucking visuals are.
Well, I think now he just has the money to do whatever he wants, so he's just kind of doing whatever. But he feels
they're just getting like
because I read he's paid out of pocket for every video he shot this year. He hasn't had anything from a label or anything.
His videographer from Real Goats has tattooed on his hands from the Suge line. But yeah, it's definitely like has some fucking incredible songs, and then it has just like all of his projects,
some lackluster songs,
just whatever filler songs. It definitely felt more so on this that he was trying to do more specific things that didn't work out. I think Kirk overall more sounds like him, but I don't know. I wish I would have wrote down where Kirk came in, but yeah, they were basically neck and neck. This I think because of Walker Texas Ranger, because I'm sure I gave that at least a 9 because that song's incredible. But yeah, it's got Babysitter is like one of my favorite songs.
Oh yeah,
like,
Babysitter's
absolutely
it's a banger.
Joggers, I love Joggers, and Suge, obviously. Suge I was not crazy about when I first listened to the project. And then
seeing it live at Soundset was something else, though.
Right, just how big it got and made me like keep listening to it, and then I was like, yeah, this is hard as shit. Also, I loved the intro on this, Taking It Out. I thought, like, for sure he should just do intros like that, because on Blank Blank, the first song, I think it's next song, is like the intro, and it's just fucking, you know how he just instantly starts rapping on everything. But his intros have been great, and then on Kirk, the intro was the song called Intro, which was like a great change of pace for him to be more introspective, and there was a lot to actually hear from him. Sometimes you think a lot of rappers are like one-dimensional, especially with like when they rap about the same things. He comically raps in the exact same flow every time, is like the biggest critique about him, which I never really care because I still like it.
It's still good, yeah.
But yeah, intro, and then he like released, I feel like you should never release your intro from your project as a single, or even your first song. The first song should just be like hard as shit. We've been over this before.
Like Intro by Lil Baby last year.
Exactly. And so, yeah, this had a better intro, taking it out. I love. But yeah, I mean, you know who DaBaby is. He's been everywhere this year.
Yeah, if you don't know who DaBaby is.
I love everything. All of his projects have been great. I'm very excited to see what he's doing, because I feel like he can be, like, he's already absolutely insane.
Yeah, he can just do whatever he wants.
And yeah, now I feel like, because, yeah, with Kirk, there were some weird features on it. A Kevin Gates feature should never happen.
Yeah.
Nicki Minaj feature, I don't need it. So I think that's why that fell off, because it honestly might be like a better produced project. But yeah, I think Baby on Baby. Either way, you've heard DaBaby. Listen to this. Keep listening to Baby. I'm excited for the future of DaBaby.
Yeah, we're all excited for the future of DaBaby.
Go to jail or kill someone and not get away with it.
And not get away with it. Coming in at number 8 for me is Kirk by DaBaby.
We did it.
We're on point.
We figured it out.
So for me, what it came down to between the two projects was listenability for the whole album.
Right.
As a
I
whole.
love that this worked out. Like
I know.
Is
this is great.
And for the slow reveal too, incredible. And we really did it this time. Guys.
We did it. We saved the fucking show.
People are like, there's too much DaBaby
talk. So for this one, as we just talked about, you know, there was 2 DaBaby projects this year. I agree with every single point you had about that one. With Kirk, I just felt like the money really showed off more this time. Like the production was a lot sleeker. He's got some different producers that aren't just Jetson, and some local producers from the North Carolina area. He's got Kenny Beats. I was like, how could I just forget that?
Who's that guy that does songs sometimes?
He's got Kenny Beats. Whoa. He's got London on the track. He's got a obscene list of features on this album. He's got Migos.
That was, I think, a problem.
Migos and Nicki Minaj, which I just came around to that song iPhone with her on it, but I have to skip her verse because I woke up one day and I had this "She-Man on my iPhone."
Yeah,
and like,
I don't even like the concept of that.
See, that's something I like about this album a bit more, is that it seems like on some of the slower songs and some of the more forgettable songs, there's still good hooks on them. You know, like the song Vibes, I don't really fuck with, but like it's got a good hook. And then
Vibes and Bop sound too much like things he's done already.
And
that was one of my
Bop is still a banger to me because it's still good. It's still a good song, but it sounds
just like Suge.
Yeah, it's just like Suge. It's that same kind of beat.
And yeah, that's the problem. If he's not gonna switch his flow, and then the beat is so similar, then we are in the same song. I don't have a problem with him. Like, I've never been crazy about, like, oh, the person just raps the same. Yeah, I think that's kind of, like, normal.
Yeah,
like,
it is what it is.
Like, look at the Migos and shit. Like, there's so many people who don't ever switch their flow.
Right.
And it can be fine, and it can get redundant, and it's trying to, like, hearing him rap over, like, Gospel off of Kirk is fire because that.
And, like, Gospel is such a good track and such a weird mix of features on that, too. What is that, Chance and Gucci, and P&B Rock?
Is on the hook?
Yeah, I think that's P&B. And the Kevin Gates feature, which I actually don't mind Kevin Gates, but it's jarring.
Yeah, like when it comes
because he just has that crazy weird low voice. Kevin Gates isn't meant for features. Kevin Gates is meant for albums where you're just listening to Kevin Gates and no features. Like that's all there is to it. But overall, I just felt like I had more fun with Kirk than I did Baby on Baby, because with Baby on Baby, it's like it came out, it had Suge, it had Babysitter, it had Joggers, it had all these really big songs on there. But then like some of the lackluster songs felt almost too lackluster for me.
I agree.
Like the one with Rich the Kid on there. Like,
I like that one actually.
See, I like it, but it gets so forgettable to me. And with this one, it's like there's some songs that aren't like primo on here, like the last 2 songs, like what XXL and like
I
He
love
Got It
XXL,
or something.
Really,
It's like it's good, but it's not something where it's like that's not a song I'm going back to on this project a lot to talk about.
See, I think my favorite DaBaby, I feel what you mean with like the choruses, but I love when he just fucking raps. Like, what's the second song where it's
straight off the rip?
Yeah, like that.
Yeah,
type
like
of
that's
shit.
a perfect
And that's
song.
how I feel with like XXL. I'm like, just you rapping your ass off is honestly hard as shit. Like, I don't need a hook or anything. Like, I just love when he just bars out.
Top three notable songs off this project for me would be Off the Rip, Bop, and Toes.
Toes is incredible.
Toes is fucking incredible.
Just
It's got a Little Baby and a I'm just gonna call it a flawless Moneybag Yo feature on there.
Yeah.
Heartless, don't need no Valentine forever. I call them Rex, not bands. Why? Ain't no rubber bands on mine at all. I used to be down, waiting on taxes time. Fucked up, but look at me now. They pay me to flex and shine. I'm up, let's get it. Big speaker like 18. So yeah,
Copyright.
We get flagged
Sounds
for that.
perfectly.
The baby shows up and beats my ass.
Finally.
But
bands up.
this came in at number 8 with a 6.7 for me, and like I said, this has been the year to baby. He has blown up
it's undeniable.
significantly. He did the Panini remix by Lil Nas X. He did the Truth Hurts remix with Lizzo.
Yep.
He's on the new Camila Cabello album that just came out. He's gone full bop.
He's everywhere. He had what, like 18 songs on the top 100,
Something like
at
that.
one
Like this,
point?
he had that on the surprise feature on Revenge of the Dreamers 3.
Right, that
the first track that
so
was on
good.
there.
Yeah,
he had
his
the
verse
verse on
that
Hot
is-
Shower, the only redeemable song off the Chance project.
Wow. Yeah.
It's
yeah.
like
It's been like it's undeniably the year.
He's been the rapper of the year, and that's why I love that he both came in at number 8 for both of us, so we could talk about both projects.
this
is the fun of not revealing the projects.
Yeah, that's
to
what I
each
mean.
other.
Yeah, there's
But yeah, so DaBaby Kurt coming in at a 6.7 for me. Listen to both DaBaby projects that came out this year just to get a good feel for it. But like Drama said, if we could just pick and choose like maybe 5 or 6 songs from each project and put them together, it'd be a perfect DaBaby.
It could have been number 1.
It could have been, honestly, yeah. If I could pick and choose and make my own DaBaby album, yeah.
All right, coming in at number 7 for me is Dreamville, Revenge of the Dreamers 3, coming in at 7.27. At first, I wasn't blown away with the album, but for preface, because I feel like this is the most important thing, is it's a J. Cole project. He's released clearly 2 other ones. This is the first time they just invited a shit ton of rappers and producers to one studio and let people just make shit. If you're unfamiliar with this and you're interested in it, go on YouTube. There's a 30-minute documentary about it that came out the day before the album dropped, and it's made me appreciate the project more because you see there's just fucking endless people on the project and in the studio. There's people that didn't even make the song.
It's like they had 3 studios set up that were running 24/7 for 2 weeks straight.
And yeah, they sent out invites. It was a whole viral thing. And yeah, there's like dozens of people there. They said they had like hundreds of gigabytes of
music,
shit,
and apparently 90% of it is still coming out, and they're still talking about the deluxe edition of this particular project.
I'm very interested in that.
Out.
But yeah, the idea in itself is fucking incredible. This is a project that is, again, too long, but this is one of the times where I'm like, that makes sense because there's no structure.
Well, when you hear about
the
the amount of music that was recorded, it had to be damn near impossible to get it down to 18
It's
tracks.
going to be long, and it's going to be all over the place. Like all the critiques I have on artist albums, too many features, too long, too all over the place, makes sense when there's this many people involved in it.
Right.
So the fact that, like, because I mean, putting just a bunch of random people together could come out anyway. Like, it could have just fucking sucked. The whole thing could have been shit. But there's like some of the best songs of the year. Down Bad, we've talked about, is the fucking one of the best songs of the year. Wells Fargo off of this fucking thing is a monster of a banger. Like, oh my God.
If you're not getting up and jumping around to this song when you hear it anywhere in public, there's something wrong with you. Like,
and
this
that's
is
what I mean. Watch the
automatically-
documentary because you see them making that song, and it makes it even better because like their energy is absolutely insane. But yeah, it definitely wins a bunch of points off of just the creativity and the idea. Like, no one's ever done anything like this. You know what I mean? And like, especially in rap, you hear so much like shit about beef and issues and artists not working together. So the idea of making an album comprised off of people just meeting for the first time and then seeing the friendships that have grown, like Guap Dad 4000 being friends with everybody now, Smino being on
getting
this.
the recognition he deserves because Guap Dad 4000 is fucking
had
incredible.
fucking 4 choruses and verses on that bitch, and they're all good. But that's what I mean. You see like friendships growing from this and more music happening and people talking about some of the unreleased music is going to be on other people's projects. Like that idea in itself
like
is great.
that's what makes music so beautiful. You know,
Right.
it's, like this is a shining example of why I love music, because it's like this is
the bond
what it's about.
between
It's
people.
about bringing people together, making this art. Now I loved this project. I thought this was an incredible album to come out this year. It did not make my list simply just for other projects that come out, other things I noticed, you know. But I think what I loved most about this project in particular was the unconventional approach it took sometimes, because within J. Cole's camp, there's a lot of people that are similar. You know, you have Jid, you have Ari Lennox. There's a lot.
This project made me love Jid. No,
Yeah.
like I never really I've heard him. I obviously
I
heard
liked
good things
Jid
about
before
him.
this. That's
Yeah,
why I
I've
was
just
excited
never
when this
paid
was
enough
coming out.
attention. But he like got off on this project. He's on a ton of shit. But yeah, then there's songs like the song that has Maxo and Key.
I was just about to say that it's the unconventional ones outside of that wheelhouse that impressed me the most, like Maxo Cream, DaBaby, and Kendrick Lamar on the same
that
fucking
song in itself, and everybody's verse is hard on that.
Yeah.
Like J. Cole's verse is good. I'm not the biggest J. Cole fan. I think his projects can get boring and he gets too rappy, and that's why this is a great
It gets a bit too
relief
heady and
from
corny.
that, because one of the bars on this project, he says, I'm on the radio so much they say I'm radioactive.
Like,
Come on, man. Like, you're one of the best rappers
like you're
of all time.
you're one of the rappers
like
that people
J.
are
Cole.
looking up to.
I don't think he's ever made a classic album either, because it just gets too much J. Cole. So this is great to have him jump in on songs.
To almost be like a supervisor to everybody else going on.
And like sneak it in. And the first song, Under the Sun, his verse is great. I forget the middle dude's name. This is great. DaBaby's incredible. And unlisted
Uncredited Kendrick
feature. And then even like the big posse cuts, like Down Bad, obviously. Costa Rica, that has like a fuck
Costa
ton of
Rica's
people
fucking
on
great.
it. And it's like, you can tell that it made people like up their game to be involved in that. Again, I forget who it is because there's so many people, but whoever's got the line that's like, had me tight like Arthur's fist. Got me tight like Arthur's fist and shit. Like I'm not an arsonist and shit. Like that's so hard, just that one line. And the song with Maxo and Key is like, it's one of those like half songs where the first half is like slower and then that
there's
comes
a beat
in
switch.
so hard.
Well, because anything Maxo's on
and then
is automatically
like
gonna be
I think
hard.
it's Swerve Run It Back or whatever, and it's got Vince Staples at the end, and it also has a hard ass beat drop, like beat switch. Like there's a lot of like creative ways to break it up and make it make sense with all of this. Also, like Sacrifices is super beautiful at the end. Like that's a beautiful heady J. Cole verse where he's talking about crying because his wife gave him a son, and like real beautiful shit. That's where Earth Gang's weird, when they're doing the So it's all over the place, but and there's a bunch of songs that I'm like not really crazy about.
like you can just listen to them and there's just background noise. You know?
They sound good. Some real traditional hip hop shit. There's like that third song's a fucking stupid song.
Just a slog to get through.
That one's dumb. But given, like I said, it definitely crept up on the list because of the idea and everything about it. But Wells Fargo, 110% Down Bad, song of the year. Under the Sun, beautiful. There's a bunch of shit in there. And like I said, watch that documentary. Like it's definitely, even if you don't like rap or you're not going to listen to the album, I just love documentaries of like people in the studio. And this is like one of the most bizarre examples of that, because it's just never been done.
Coming in at number 7 for me is another new artist that came out this year, Slater, with 3 Ys, Slayyyyter.
It's too many Ys.
It's too many Ys. And it's her self-titled project, coming in at a 6.8 for me. It's no secret that I have a deep love for pop music, and
it should be.
It's not though. Whether it be just normal pop songs you're hearing on the radio, or even just crafted pop music. You know, I like indie pop, I like dream pop, I like catchy, I like synthesizers, I like things that are nice. And this is I'm not, to be honest,
Slim. I like things that are nice. 2019, put it on everything.
Not everything. And you can
someone,
buy that for $1.
Someone remind us that was said in this, because I'll forget, and I love that quote now.
I like things that are nice.
What a rare thing to say.
Well, because it's like with pop music, you know, I think so many, especially young people like us, get caught up in like, oh, well, it's not cool enough, or it's not thought out enough, or it's not
listening to this.
Right. This is definitely one of those projects where if you
shouldn't be seen
where you shouldn't be seen listening to it. It's her sound. It's very very pop. Her image. I've seen it described as like very like 2006 MySpace. Like she's got like the big hair, platinum blonde hair. And, you know, the beats aren't anything terrifyingly original. You know, it's not like it's anything where I'm like, this is a revolution in music.
Right.
But this is solid pop music. Like, this is well written. This is fun. This has a good beat to it. Because to me, the whole point of a good pop album is to just kind of make you forget for a little bit. The whole point of any good album or piece of music is just to
escape,
have fun. And, you know, obviously with some music, you know, like you're not listening to Mount Erie and going to a happy place, but it's like
maybe you, bro.
Yeah, maybe you. Doubt it. But with Slater, it's like this is music that's just meant for fun. You're meant to dance to this. You're meant to not take it too seriously. It's one of those things where it's like, you know how like you feel weird about singing some Frank Ocean songs around the house sometimes?
I used to.
Yeah,
but now
used to? Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I used to be. I was talking to someone about this the other day, like when, me listening to gay artists when I was younger.
Yeah.
And you'd be like, oh, can't. I don't want to sing that. It feels weird. Now
Right.
I'm just like, I'll suck my boyfriend's dick.
Yeah, no, I'm sitting there driving down the road screaming, my guy pretty like a girl.
That's just the fire line. I
That's
feel like
just
that
so
one
good.
I always, just the cadence of it, I feel like I always would have said that. But like Forrest Gump is always the one
That's
I think
one I
of
always
because that
think of.
was like a
You're
time
on
when...
my mind, boy. 'Cause
Yeah.
When did that come out? 2012? 2013?
Yes, 2012.
Yeah. Back when you couldn't be seen publicly singing a Frank Ocean
No,
song
I rolled
like
up my
that.
windows. It's 90 degrees. I have no AC.
Yeah,
I'm
now
like,
we're just now all
you can
four of
run
us
on
are
my
riding in
mind.
the car screaming as
Yeah,
loud as we
windows
can.
down,
Yeah,
like, fuck it.
because one of my favorite songs on this album, Candy, has the pre-chorus line is "My pussy tastes sweet like candy," and it's sung very sensually, you know.
Give me a taste.
And so like I'm walking around the house, I'm like, "My pussy tastes sweet like candy."
Yeah, you shouldn't be
like I
doing
shouldn't be
that,
singing
yeah.
that. You
Yeah,
know?
I don't think you're allowed to do that.
I don't
a
think
lot
I'm
of
allowed to
places.
at all, actually. But it's not without its flaws, you know, because like it does almost sound like mid 2000s pop music in some ways. And it's like that was a time when everything was really bubblegum sweet and kind of like almost too poppy. But that's something I think we're starting to get back to in the end of 2019 here at the end of the decade, because like, you know, 100 Gex is super popular right now.
I don't understand it. I
don't-
feel so old.
Yeah,
I like
it's-
see it
it's-
everywhere.
I know.
I didn't even know if that's how you say it.
It's like a whole genre of music now. It's called like hyper pop, where it's like these
know.
high pitched voices and just these crazy
I
Yeezus
know.
style beats.
I
you know?
listen because I'm like, oh, the kids are talking about the 100
I
Gex.
listened
I'll
to
look
it too.
into it. And
Yeah.
they felt 100 years old.
I felt weird because I liked pieces of it, but then other
Yeah,
pieces
I
I
like
was like,
pieces
what
of
the
it.
fuck
yeah,
is
I
this?
want to die during the
I was like,
rest
what the
of it.
fuck is this?
This shouldn't be
And then they
allowed.
opened up for Brockhampton,
I
and it's like, I'm
know.
supposed to see this
Imagine
live?
we win. We're just like, no, I don't like.
Well, and people
much
are out
of
here
this
saying
one.
100 Gex is album of the year, and I'm like, how
I
on
know
earth?
that's why I looked into it because no one would shut the fuck up about it, and I don't get it. I am ancient, and
I
I'm
feel-
gonna get my walker and my spectacles because I don't know what's going on.
I feel like
anymore.
Slater almost falls into that hyperpop sort of category because she has sort of a higher voice. The electronics on here can be very abrasive and banging sometimes. It's definitely a modern sounding pop album, but that's where I fall in love with it so much, is that like I love just a good hook. I love a catchy synth beat that like, you know, can be made in Fruity Loops in 10 minutes, you know.
Yeah.
But like that's what's great about it is it's unapologetic in that way. It's just like, this is what it is. It's not deep. You're not supposed to get anything thought-provoking out of this. This is just surface level fun pop music, but not like a Rebecca Black Friday situation, but more of like
hot Rebecca Black.
like a hot Rebecca Black that's really because she almost seems self-aware on a lot of these tracks, because some of these tracks seem so generically like one of my favorite songs on here is called Touch My Body, and like the chorus is literally just touch my body, touch my body, and it's like there's no thought to this, but like it sounds fun, it sounds good,
Just having a good time.
it's just having a good time. So if you're in, and I saw the sound compared to like the music that like Lindsay Lohan and Paris Hilton put out on MySpace back in the day, like that really generic bad celebrity pop kind of thing.
Yeah.
So if that's up your alley where you're going to
That's
enjoy
very
something,
specific
it's a
alley.
specific alley,
Yeah.
but it's one that I do genuinely have a love for, because like I can go back through the last 2 decades worth of pop music and like find the girly songs me and my sister listened to and bonded with growing up, you know, and it's like that's where a lot of love for this project came from. And I didn't even think this was going to be something that would register as an album of the year until I realized how many songs on it were on my go-to playlist.
Right.
And I realized I have a
that same
chunk of
thing,
7 Slater songs in a row.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, well, all right.
There we go, folks.
I've got 7 Slater songs in a row, and I'm like, okay, well, maybe we should give this a listen. And it's like the songs that are bad are bad. Like
Right.
they're very bad. Like they were getting 1s and 2s for me.
Right.
But the songs that were good, they were getting 9s and 10s for me because it's like there's several songs on here where like I'm gonna be playing them for years to come. They're gonna come up on my shuffle, and I'm not gonna be mad about it. You know.
Yeah.
So 3 songs from the project. If you just want to get a good taste for it, check out "Alone," "Candy," and "Touch My Body." Like I said, it's Slater with 3 Y's, SLAYYY.
Just keep typing Y and it'll come up.
It's her self-titled project. It's not going to be for everybody. It's like obviously we have a lot of different musical tastes that come into this show, but if you can appreciate pop and you can just kind of turn your brain off from being so serious for a little bit, I think there's a lot of enjoyment to be had within this.
Nice. Next is me pausing it to take a piss because I'm going to piss my pants and I refuse to sit through this.
It's so long.
Okay.
All right, we're back.
Into it. All right,
so your number 6.
6 for me is Big Baby Scumbag Juvenile Hell, coming in at 7.5.
This was also a top contender for me and was originally
As
on my top 10s list.
Should be. This is hilarious
Can we
because
just talk about how much we love Big Baby Scumbag?
yeah, we love Big Baby Scumbag, and what's funny is you were at my house and we were literally having a conversation like he should never release a project.
Yes,
just keep doing
that's
singles.
right, yeah.
Notoriously, he's got a dozen singles out,
And they're all fire.
They're all great.
Every single one is good. He's beautiful, right? Like he's a good looking man.
I don't know. He's a little funny looking. I mean, I wouldn't kick him out of bed for eating
I think he's
beers.
handsome. Okay.
Yeah, I have a very weird thing. in
Yeah, I
bed.
guess, yeah. I think he's a handsome man. He's got that big,
I'll have
strong,
to look at
screamy
him
voice.
more.
Because I saw that
He's
picture.
got a
of him-
nice smile.
Yeah, because I saw that picture of him at the brewery when he was like holding up the bag or something. I was like, that's a good
I want
looking
to hang
man.
out with him. I pray to God he comes to Chicago.
Oh,
And
if he comes,
won't.
there's no way we're not going to see him if he comes to
I've
Chicago.
tweeted at him about it. But anyway, we had a conversation. He shouldn't even release a project because he never technically has. Literally 2 days later on Instagram, he announces this. This is produced by Lex Luger of Waka Flocka Flame
So
fame.
you automatically know it's going to be.
Yeah, bangers of, back in the day. And has like completely like disappeared. Doesn't really do anything anymore.
Right, yeah.
Of no offense
So for
to him.
Big Baby Scumbag to pull him out
Yeah.
for a whole produced
produced
project?
project. So yeah, I didn't know if this would make my list, and yeah, going back through it, it's the same thing where like every song is on like my go-to playlist.
Yeah,
except
it's just
one.
that one with the weird
Springwood.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's the one that I'm just like.
which this is fucking made for me. This the intro is led
Has
by
Lil
Lil
B.
B introducing him.
Yeah, as
And
soon
this-
as I saw that, I was like, this is going on his albums of the year list
Which
already.
is
I
great
fucking know
because
it.
like Big Baby Scumbag is such a fan of Lil B and Waka. Like it literally, he is like the child of good era Waka and Lil B. So having that, like the first song, the intro,
I'm gonna
as soon
say
as
the
it starts
best
going-
parts of Little B.
Yes, of course, like a more refined version of
Yeah, because
Lil
Little B is he just throws
exactly
everything out there.
But the constant like songs about a person is like that's Little B's playbook from like old classic Little B.
Right,
You know what
yeah.
I mean? Like naming a song and a whole idea, and even a lot of like the lines and references are very similar to Little B. Yes, in the best way. But this sounds like peak Waka.
Yeah.
Definitely hugely because of Lex Luger, but also like the screaming and the energy and like
his energy is the most impressive part of it because he is
Right.
constantly just yelling and
and
screaming.
he know what you're getting. Like he's not an artist that's looking to expand on his sounds in the best way. You know what I mean?
Right, yeah.
He knows what we want. He knows what he's good at, and we're getting it. And this
Yeah.
project, like I was scared
It's
because
just
I
9
don't
tracks
think,
of it.
yeah, I don't think a project like he's an artist that I would say, like we had talked about, keep doing singles. I don't think a project you can't.
Even I would even
Stand-
say like what was this 9 songs?
Yeah, one's a skit though,
yeah,
and the skit is fucking incredible.
great
That's what's
skit, yeah.
insane. Like, when's the last time you heard a good rap skit in like modern
Chance the
times?
Rapper's the big day.
That shit should be made into a person and killed.
Yeah. Hot
Yeah,
take.
the
Hot
skit.
take, hot shower.
The skit is hilarious and great. Like this thing has horror movie samples. Like this is a project made for me. Like it's fucking rowdy, aggressive, fun, like old bangers, like classic Lex Luger. And yeah, I thought it was something that would become very stale. You know what I mean? Like, although I sit around and listen to 9 Big Baby Scumbag songs in a row on my own
every couple of days,
it's just one of those artists where you're like, I don't know if you can sustain yourself in a project.
Right,
And there's nothing wrong with that, especially in modern music. There's a lot of, like, a Little Pump. I don't need a Little Pump album. A ton of people I don't need a fucking album from. Just keep making singles and we can have a good time until whenever.
Right.
And this definitely blew me away in the fact that I was like, this is a fucking solid project. Yeah, there's one song that I don't like, Springwood, and it's just a weird voice.
Yeah,
it's really
just
that.
It's just an odd effect on the voice.
Yeah, and
that
it's
makes
just
it
a weird flow, weird voice. There's like 2 songs I'm not crazy about, but they're still good. And then there's just fucking bangers. Like it is what it is. It's fucking bangers. You know what I mean? There's nothing more or less to say.
Especially this year with so many disappointing albums that we expected to be good. To have a project drop, a first album from somebody that has made constantly good music, but is questionable whether or not they can make an album, and then it comes out and it's exactly what you want. Like how that seems like almost like a unicorn in 2019.
Right. Yes,
almost,
very much so. And I think that's why it made the list. And yeah, it's definitely no doubt, like looking back at it, like halfway through it, I was like, yeah, this is going to be on my fucking list. It's hard as shit. Best songs, Intro for sure. Metal Gear Solid, Pinhead. I fucking love Trinity. It's like the second last song. It feels like it should be the last song, just how it sounds. And then even on the track list, Bass Real Loud is like bonus song. It's still solid song. But Trinity, like just the sample and the build up and then that bitch I'm a son. It's so fucking hard and great. Like I listen to that song almost every day. Like this thing, if you want good fucking bangers, if you love Waka Flocka, like from like classic fucking like
Wakavelli.
Yeah, first Wakavelli, Hard in the Paint, Karma,
Grove Street,
Bang, all that shit. Like that's this channel, and like almost more aggressive at times.
I
like,
would say a more aggressive. He's far more aggressive than Waka. And Waka can get aggressive.
Yeah, like those specific Waka songs where he's yelling and going crazy. That's this channeled into it. And yeah, the bars are great. It's funny, it's fun, it's hard as shit. It's something to just
and then he just put out a great single called Toy Story that is fucking wonderful.
That's fucking incredible. Like, yeah, if you want just some hard, fun shit, like just fucking like shirtless throwing beers.
The type of shit that we're playing. If you've ever wondered what the soundtrack to like the rowdiest of Dapper Dad Squad time sounds like, it sounds like a Big Baby Scumbag album.
Yeah, that's my biggest complaint is that I haven't seen him live because I want to mosh and throw shit and like rage.
I want to see Dale Earnhardt live and just lose my fucking mind.
There's so many.
Still eating ramen noodles, bitch, I love the taste.
Yeah, he's got so many quotables like that. That's not from this project, but there's lines like that where you're like, if anyone else said the shit he says, it would be corny and stupid. But it's one of those perfect things where it's his delivery and his
attitude about everything. Right.
It's lighthearted and it's fun.
It's like you can tell because he doesn't take himself too seriously. You know, it's like he knows he's just out here having fun making bangers. You know,
it's so fun. Like, yeah, if you want some bangers, that's probably top tier for the year.
Coming in at number 6 for me is Rico Nasty and Kenny Beats, Anger Management, coming in at a 6.9. Now I'm a big fan of lady rappers, and you're not necessarily the biggest fan, but Rico Nasty is up there for me. She's one of those.
I do like Rico.
She's one of those artists where she's constantly putting out something good.
Also, I'd like to clear that up now. I think I wasn't, but lately
you've been coming around a bit more.
Doja, Rico. I had a fourth one. I don't know.
I like Baby Mother. I've been listening to her stuff, and
I
like her. See, I like her.
It's nothing personal.
Scary.
It's not women.
Watch her color show. She looks like a scary woman.
Or even like No Name and stuff, because there's that lane too. Rhapsody. Like I think now.
Ari Lennox put out what is possibly the best R&B soul album this year.
I've heard a lot about it, but I haven't listened to it.
It's very good. It's not on my list, but it is very good.
Yeah, I think now, one thing, female rappers were corny for so long and just sexual.
Yeah.
Like Nicki Minaj. No offense. Or fuck, I don't give a shit. But yeah, like now it seems like women are allowed to have personalities and fun and rap, and these women can rap their ass off. Yeah, that's the thing.
Rico Nasty can rap her fucking ass off. Like I've seen her freestyle, I've seen her live, and it's like she's got what it takes. She's got the juice, you know. And Kenny Beats is damn.
Holy shit.
I got some spit caught there. That felt bad. I need to drink a beer. Yeah, I need some beer.
If you guys are ever having any throat issues, make sure to
drink a nice
Natter Day. Yeah, I thought you were gonna die. I was like, no, what's his number 1 and 2 and 3? Otherwise, they don't care. Everyone wants the top 3.
They do.
Whoa!
Everything's breaking.
Yeah, let's get this going.
Kenny Beats is my producer of the year, personally.
Yeah, he's done a few things.
He's done a couple of things this year that have just...
couple lighthearted, like little tracks.
I would say just look up all the production he's done this year. He's done some fantastic things. Now, that being said, one of my critiques of Kenny Beats is that while he does make fantastic beats, it's nothing new. He's not making anything that's revolutionary, that's changing the game. He is just making perfect beats of the sound that is already out there. One of the blatant ripoff moments on this album is the third track, Hatin', which is a very clear ripoff of Dirt Off Your Shoulders by Jay-Z. Like, it is almost, it's that, but it's just got like some extra synths and like kicks thrown in there and stuff. So it's like sometimes Kenny Beats isn't doing anything revolutionary, but what he's good at is he's making a good, deep, low beat, lots of 808s, lots of low bass, and his production.
I do think he does. I think people don't pay enough attention to the other shit he does, though. Mm-hmm. Because like Trina by Smino, that beat is different. Phone Numbers by Dominic Fike, it's like insane. You know what I mean? I think the things that rise to the top are all that shit.
Are the
I think
generic
that's what people want.
Now, if you want to dig deeper into Kenny's production discography, you will find the more unique tracks like that.
Of the best songs this year.
Oh yeah, Phone Numbers by Dominic Fike is fucking wonderful.
Yeah,
like that is just a perfect song from start to finish.
So yeah, I think he falls into a lot of the same old stuff, but he definitely has the ability to make something insane. He's working with is it Idols? Is that how you say that?
Yeah,
yeah. I'm very interested. In
I'm very excited to see what comes out of that.
I love Idols, but I like them. Like that's definitely.
I love Idols.
I'm curious to see
think they
what
are
they're gonna
so
do.
good.
Whoa,
because I saw their Tiny Desk concert and they were so much fun on their Tiny Desk concert.
I gotta watch that. There's something about them that like puts me off. I don't know what it is. It's right up my alley, but
I know exactly what you're saying.
I don't know what it is.
There's something about it that stops me from appreciating it 100%. There's something where I'm like, there's just something about this. Yeah,
it's one of those bands where you're like, I fucking want to.
I think it's the Cockney in the guy's voice all the time
part
when
of
he's
it, but
hollering.
there's so many like old punk bands that I don't know if
Sound
I just
like that,
haven't done that in so long. But that when I was a kid, anyway.
But this is a shorter project. It's got it's technically 8 songs, kind of like Big Baby. Well, it's 9 songs with 1 interlude, and the first 4 just right off the bat, perfect songs, just great songs. The first one, Cold, has just this great chorus where she's just screaming, "None of these bitches cold as me," and it's just this stompy, heavy
Watched
beat.
her Pitchfork set, and that was beautiful.
Oh, she was fantastic. The second song on the album, Cheat Code, that's probably my favorite song off the project because it's got this really, like, it's one of those, it's a weird beat because it's like the chorus is a buildup, but then it doesn't go anywhere, but it almost serves the song better because it's like there's finally like that explosion at the end of the song, but it's just the chorus again, just like she's just screaming it at the top of her lungs because this album's called Anger Management. So the first half is like really angry and aggressive. There's a fantastic track with Earth Gang on here called Big Titties. And like that is just one of the most fun songs I've heard this year. Just the way the beat kind of swags on it a little bit. It sounds big and fat, but it also sounds like it's just kind of grooving a little bit, you know? And everybody just kind of bounces on the beat. And it's like that's just one of those moments where it just had to be perfect in the studio. You know, Kenny Beats laying down this beat, Earth Gang's there, Rico's putting down her stuff with it. And it's like this is one of those songs where it's like this is something I'm going to hear for a long time and just keep fucking with.
Right.
The second half of the album is where it sort of falls apart a little bit for me. There's a song called Relative, which is just kind of a standard beat. And I like Rico Nasty when she's putting out bangers, when she's having a fun time. I don't like Rico Nasty when she's doing like the introspective raps and when she's doing like the this is where I came from and my life was so hard kind of stuff. Yeah. And that's what the second half of this album kind of is because the first 4 songs, 10 out of 10s for me. Like I can listen to them anytime. I can sing them. I can scream them. I don't care where I'm at. I'm going to enjoy listening to it. The second half, there's one really solid song with this guy called Bauer on it, and it's just a weird sounding beat. Like it's one of those weird Kenny beats where you can't like pick up what the flow is at first until they start rapping over it, and then you're like, this is hard as shit actually. Yeah. But then like the second to last song, it's one of those like, I came from the bottom and you can't discount what I've been through, blah, blah, blah. And it's just a generic, like, okay, I know what you're doing. But then the last song is sort of like a fun, poppy little thing, which is where a lot of these like Doja Cat and Rico Nasty kind of shine because it's like there's like this hardness to them that comes with the rap, but they also have this kind of sugary, pastel colored popness to them at the same time, you know? And where even though the first half was amazing, the second half was still lackluster. It's still something. It's a good project to listen to from start to finish because it is capped off with like samples, making it sound like it is a therapy session, like it's an anger management session. So there is a clear concept behind it when you're listening to it. Some of the execution may be lackluster, but that's not to say overall, because like when this came out, I would listen to it a couple times a day for a couple of weeks, you know, because like it's 20 minutes long, 25 minutes long, you know, you can just bang it out really fast. It's really good. I like Rico. It's just kind of a hard album to talk about and rate because it's like some of these songs are so fucking good, but overall it's like you can see the weak points where it's like, okay, if she had done a different song here or done something different in this song, I might have liked it a lot more, but it doesn't take away from how good the project is overall. So it's a lot of conflicting feelings for me on this one, but it's still ranked higher than some of the other projects on here simply because the songs that I did like, I fucking loved, and the songs I didn't like were just kind of forgettable.
Right. All right. Up to number 5, folks. You still with us? You sick of us?
You still here?
Halfway through?
Because this is where it gets bulky. I just seize out.
All right, number 5 from me is Amir Van Emmanuel at a 7.58.
And it's good.
Big surprise.
Big surprise for us
of
this
the year. As we know, Amir was removed from Brockhampton and completely disappeared.
Thought we were never going to hear from him again.
Right.
Thought he was just done.
I honestly assumed that was the case, and I always held out hope that because we all know and we can say comfortably that he was the best part of Brockhampton, and since he's no longer in
Brockhampton has shown us that he is for sure what they're missing.
Shit. So yeah, it came out of nowhere. He basically just came back on social media and was like, "Here's a project," and it's fucking good.
It's incredible.
It's very raw and dark as fuck.
I was talking with the guys when we were driving to your place to go to the Pew Show a couple weeks ago, and I was talking about how I would really like it if somebody took these Emmanuel verses and cut them into some of these Brockhampton songs that have come out so we could get some proper Brockhampton material out of it.
Yeah, it starts off nasty.
Just that fat.
Huge distorted 808.
Blows out your fucking headphones.
Yeah, very shocking first song to listen to. And then, just very raw about his emotions and the shit he's been through.
I thought a lot of the same things that he was really famous for in Brockhampton, you know, talking about his struggles with drugs and mental illness and a life of crime and a life he's trying to get away from.
Just the edge. And in one of the songs, I forget the line, but he says, like, this the shit that they're missing. Like,
there's a lot.
Clearly.
This was another album that was a contender for me for projects to go on here because it's like he is very visceral, and some of the shots he takes at Brockhampton are very obvious on here.
And I watched his Sway interview, and he says, like, they're not even shots. It's just saying, like, I'm not a boy in a band. I'm more than a man. Like, there's definitely, like, hints at it, and I think there are more shots than he's willing to admit.
Yeah. Well, I think there's only so much he can say publicly, too.
Right.
You know?
And, I don't think he wants to be attached to it. But, it's just the rawness that's missing from Brockhampton. And not to even just continue to compare it to Brockhampton. It's only 6 songs, and literally it is one of those things. The first 3 songs are fucking incredible.
Mm-hmm.
Second half, other 3 songs are good, obviously, but they kind of fall apart. It seems like he's trying to figure out what he's gonna do now. You know what I mean? Like to be a solo artist and everything. I think it's miles above his like early solo material. Yeah, and again,
that stuff was mostly forgettable for me.
Yeah, I never like really stood out. I think he's got a great voice and a great flow, and the things he speaks on are interesting more than other things.
Mm-hmm.
But some of the shit the first 3 songs, Emmanuel, Pop Trunk, and Glock 19. Pop Trunk I fucking love. Glock 19 is great, but Pop Trunk is just like, that's the edge. Like, that's the shit.
That's
like,
what's
it
been
sounds
missing.
so hard. The Houston influence is incredible on this. Like, all the references and the shit. And even the second half, like, it feels like there's like the poppier song, or just more like kind of introspective and not so abrasive, but like, it's definitely a beautiful return to him making music. I'm very excited. Like he said on his Sway freestyle, he's got another tape on the way or something.
Mm-hmm.
I want to see more. I want to see where it goes, because that's always been the critique with him, as well as that like he sounds the same,
just
and
one-dimensional.
People constantly talk about, like, I remember when this came out, the first song, because he's like, I'm lonely, I'm tired, I'm, and people are like, all of his verses are just I'm I like sometimes people have the weirdest critiques that I don't even think
Right.
about. It's like, what do you want someone to do? Like
what do you want him to
rap
talk
ab-
about instead?
yeah, like he's rapping about his life. You're obviously going to be like, I'm doing this.
I'm
like
going through
I've
this.
never really had like issues with any of his verses.
I've never even thought about it like that.
I know it's one of those things people point out, and you're like, yeah. And then once you listen, you're like, yeah, he does say a lot, but like, I don't know what the other option is to be like he. Like, there's artists that do that and make
Right.
it into story. Like, regardless, you're gonna get the same thing. Do you want it packaged as like something else? I don't know. It's very confusing. People are weird, but yeah. Regardless, it was very exciting to get this. It's very sad and like, but
Yeah.
still hard. It's that perfect balance of like fucking.
That's what we're looking for,
aggressive.
is sad and hard at the same time.
Yeah, I love to be
just
sad
like
and
us,
hard.
sad and hard.
So yeah, it's definitely was one of my favorite things that came out of nowhere this year. Like
Yeah.
I wasn't expecting it, and I'm very excited it's back, and I'm excited for the future.
Coming in at number 5 for me is Slipknot, We Are Not Your Kind, coming in with a 7.1.
Shocking.
Shocking that Slipknot would be on my
How?
end of the year list.
How?
For those, if you listen,
Fact check.
fact check. If you listen to the show, you know I am a Slipknot ultra fan. I've been a huge Slipknot fan my entire life. That being said, this album was a surprise. This was honestly a really pleasant surprise to get as a Slipknot fan. Their last 2 albums were a little bit lackluster, in my opinion. And the thing about Slipknot is that they're such a behemoth of a band, both literally and figuratively. It's got 9 people, and you know, I saw the joke online where someone was like, "Can you imagine being the sound guy for the first Slipknot show and you find out there's 9 guys and 3 of them just beat garbage the whole time? Well, so what? You want me to mic the keg? What do I do with this?" And because it's like, you know, every time they do an album cycle, they tour the whole world. They do Knot Fest in several different countries. So it's like they take several years off after an album cycle because it's like they do so fucking much.
Right.
And Corey Taylor, he's in Stone Sour. The other guys have other projects that they focus and work on. So it's 4 to 5 years in between every Slipknot project that you get. The last one we got came out in 2014. And that was after the death of Paul Gray, their bassist, and after their drummer, Joey Jordison, was fired. And so people were kind of like, can they still do this anymore? And they've even openly admitted that their album, Point 5, The Gray Chapter, that came out was exactly that. It was just kind of an exercise in seeing, like, do we still want to do this? Is it something that we still want to do? And then redone with a whole new low-end rhythm section, you know? So it's like and Joey and Paul wrote so many of their early songs that it's like, are they still the same band? Can they still put out something that's of quality with their early material? And I'm not going to say that this album is on par with their first 3 albums, because those are classics for me. Those are 10 out of 10s. They cannot be touched. There's nothing about that can be changed. This has several moments on it that really do shine through, though, where a lot of the last album, a lot of the sadness that was projected was with like clean guitar tones and a lot of like clean singing from Corey Taylor. And people will constantly say that Slipknot fell off after Stone Sour came back because Corey comes and he brings like that pop edge to what Slipknot was doing. But do you want to hear some guys who are, one of them just turned 50 years old, still screaming about all this nihilistic shit? You know, it's like
That'd be like 2 dorks making a podcast, that
right,
are
for
50.
25 years. And it's like their first album came out their first album came out 25 years ago. Their debut album.
Insane.
Yeah, no, 20 actually. 1999 was when the first Slipknot album came out. And they started practicing as like a band as Slipknot as early as 94, I think it was 95. So these guys have been doing it for a very long time. So it's like, can these guys still put out a quality album in 2019? Can anyone after that long
sustain themselves?
And I'm not going to say this is a perfect Slipknot album, because it's not. Obviously, it's not a 10 out of 10 or it'd be at the top. But
Is that how this works?
usually,
I
God,
fucked up.
we got to redo it. Cut the episode.
You ready to do this again? Let me sit here and figure
Let's
it
sit here
out.
and figure it out for 5 hours, and
Okay.
then we'll got to listen to all the albums.
Yeah, that'll be fine.
We'll do it. But it has several great songs on here. Just the 3 that I put down of note just to check out are Birth of the Cruel, Nero Forte, and Soloway Firth. These are songs that are aggressive. They have this hard edge. I almost feel like having 2 younger guys come into the band and fill in these positions almost kind of lit a fire under their ass a little bit, because suddenly it's not 9 old men running around on stage in masks doing this anymore. You know, suddenly it's like these are people that their drummer is Jay Weinberg, Max Weinberg's son, who there's actually a fun picture of when he was a child on the Iowa tour wearing a Corey mask, and Max has brought him backstage to meet the band so they can sign his album, and now he's in the band, and it's like, that's the dream. You know, like, that's what you want to do.
It's like that Rockstar movie.
Exactly. And so you know,
where that girl presses her boobs against the window. Sorry, it took me so long. I was like, what is it here? I know it's here. Go in that file
I could
cabinet.
feel it off of you. I was like, he's got
God,
something he wants to say from that movie.
Fuck.
But
Fuck the whole...
this album brings the aggression. It brings the hurt. You know, this album was written after Corey Taylor's divorce from, like, I don't know, his 5th wife or some shit. Like, he's always he's constantly getting married and divorced. I see people that just worship Corey Taylor and just worship Slipknot, and they trouble me. Like, these people trouble me because it's like, I love Slipknot, but I'm not that one of those Slipknot worshipers.
The traditional fans,
overzealous fans about things, you know?
Because I don't want to associate with any Slipknot people.
Right.
You barely got sneak through the garage door closing. Or like the boobs against the window. The boobs in the window.
Oh my God! I gotta look at that. We gotta watch that after this to de-stress after this episode.
I always watched it on TV and it would black the bar out, and it would just be so weird and confusing for 13-year-old me to try to figure out what I want.
Do women have black bars instead of boobs?
I want a window with a black bar on it. No, I don't think
I want boobs. But it does suffer from some of the problems that later era Slipknot does. A lot of the clean singing that doesn't seem to fit in. Like, a lot of the choruses are these clean sung things, and it's like they had good clean singing on their older stuff, like Wait and Bleed, Left Behind, My Plague, but it just seems like it's almost like radio style singing that's been brought forth. And that's not to say that artists can't grow and change. I just don't think it necessarily matches the tone of the music all the time. The lead single from this, Unsainted, is like every Slipknot cliche in a song. It's got the DJ scratches, it's got the gang vocals in the background, it's got a clean chorus with like this heavy driving drums during the verse, you know. So there's a lot of characteristic Slipknot things about this album, but a lot of just chord progressions and riffs that I really haven't thought I would hear again on Slipknot albums. Nero Forte is probably a classic Slipknot song written in 2019. It's got a catchy chorus. It's got a verse that you remember. It's got a crazy, oddly timed breakdown. It has everything that you want out of a classic Slipknot project while still having the maturity of a band that's been doing this for 20 plus years. You know, they sound tight. The grooves are in there. The little electronic bits and DJ things just sling through and slide through in a very beautiful way. There's a very weird song on here called Spiders that almost has I don't want to say disco feel, but like almost like a weird. It's just weird. It's got weird keyboards and kind of like
the Slipknot disco.
It's just got kind of like a dun 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 ba dun ba dun dun ba dun ba, and like just this weird kind of sung chorus you almost might hear on like a Joy Division song or something. There's one song on here that just got a straight 1 from me. It's called My Pain, and it's like a 6-minute atmospheric, weird off-key piano in there. And it's like, that's what Slipknot tries to do. They try to put in some of this creepy, weird edge with some of their music that doesn't always translate very well, because it's at a certain point it almost feels like you're taking yourself too seriously. You know, it's like you're 9 men in masks playing metal music. You can't be like War. Don't take yourself so seriously. You know, it's like, I'm a Slipknot freak and I'm like, stop taking yourself so goddamn seriously. But at the end of the day, this is something where, you know, it came out, I listened to it every day for like a month, just being a Slipknot fan. And it felt good to really be proud of a Slipknot album that came out again. Because for the last 2, I'm sitting there and I'm like, well, these songs are good, but, you know, it falls kind of short in a lot of ways. You know, like, I was actually really disappointed in their last album because I was like, some of this is bad. Like, this is genuinely bad and unlistenable. I didn't think that Slipknot would ever be unlistenable for me, you know? But they really redeemed themselves a lot with this release. Like I said, it comes in at a 7.1 for me. Not by far not the best Slipknot album that you're ever going to hear. But if you're into aggressive music, if you're into hearing Slipknot doing a couple of different unconventional things that I didn't think I would ever hear them do on a record, it's worth checking out. I saw them live this year with our good friend of the show, George Kaplan, and they put on a fantastic show. So if you like Slipknot, you're going to like this. If you like aggressive music, you're going to like this. If you don't like either one of those things, you're not going to like this. That's all there is to it.
All right, coming in at number 4 for me is Pup, Morbid Stuff, at a 7.625, which ties with number 3.
Christ.
Yeah, it's weird because it exactly ties with number 3, and we'll get to that next, I think, and I'll explain why. But yeah, I'm a big Pup fan. Their previous album, The Dream Is Over, came out like 3 years ago, 2016. And that's where I found them. I fucking love that album so much. And it's one of those where you're like, I'm scared for the next thing because like I fucking love this album.
It's so
and I
perfect.
Don't think,
you don't want to see
like,
anything else.
Their first album, I like it quite a bit, but I wouldn't like if that had been what I'd heard first, I don't think it would have done as much for me.
Mm-hmm.
So I was always like, I don't know if the next one will. And I'm still not sure if it did. It was great that this is, I think, the first album in a long time where I pre-ordered it on vinyl. So it came before it was released. So I got to sit down, listen to it on vinyl with the lyric sheet, which is like my favorite thing. I feel like those albums always stick with me more. Like reading the lyrics the first listen through
because you're physically
is
involved
impactful.
with it.
Yeah, it was the day I sold my car.
I remember that. Yeah, I remember you sending
vividly.
snaps about all the little things and like all the cool stuff that came with the vinyl.
Yeah, I got the coloring book edition. 1,000
came with a copy of Coloring Book by chance the rapper for some
it was
reason?
just Coloring Book. I was like, this sounds familiar.
This fucking
they went in a
sucked.
different. This has same drugs though, so we'll pretend it's great.
Those same drugs. I guess I'll take
No,
it.
I've never received my Chance the Rapper vinyl, and there's 3 of them, and I would love an update. Chance, please.
Anything.
I wanted to
Stop
tweet.
sitting at home with your fucking wife and maybe do something.
I wanted to tweet at him and be like, "Thanks for ruining my Christmas. They were gifts from my son, and I guess you just won't get anything." Just to be a dick. You ever
should.
think about like I
Just
could
being a
be
dick on Twitter
and
for
then
no
you just
reason.
Don't. But anyway, yeah, the Pup album is fucking solid. It rips. There's so many of the same things that I wanted, but it does feel like a sense of maturity, or like we can't just keep doing the same. Like I'm going through a breakup and I'm drinking and the things we love that I think they could have got away with another album of it, but
they chose not to. They
yeah,
chose
there's
to
definitely
evolve and do more.
The thing with Pup that's insane to me is like I don't think they get enough credit for like absolutely insane like time signatures and playing. Like,
I will
the
agree with you
drums
on
and
that.
The guitar sometimes are just like, and I remember seeing they did like an AMA and they all like chimed in, and someone was like, "Did you guys plan to like play this like awkwardly and like odd?" And the drummer replied, "No, we're just stupid." And like listening to it, there is a lot of shit.
I just recently like listened to this and appreciated it because like I listened to it when it came out because you were into it and I was like, this is more of the same thing that we like, you know. But like a couple of weeks ago, I just decided to sit down with it. I was like, I'm gonna give this a listen because I was going through albums and what we should do for the year, and I was very pleasantly surprised with this. I was
very
like, it's
good.
very good.
Yeah, don't let my love for the second album persuade you one way or another, because this is fucking it's obviously
it's very
super good album. The writing is great. They definitely always have a lot of lines that like stick out to me and like feels like the shit, like that shit where you're like, wow, it feels like you wrote what I'm thinking. And then you feel like you could be a weirdo forever about it. The first song I love so much for that reason. There's a beautiful song on it called Scorpion Hill, and it's a story about basically a guy who's trying to make ends meet, and he's got a kid on the way, and just the struggles of that. It's very long. It starts off very like folky kind of country, and then it's got one of my favorite things in music where it's just like that slow like acoustic guitar or whatever, and then just that and it picks up. I saw them live finally for the first time because the shows always fucking sell out. Me and Matt got to see them. It was they're incredible live, like absolutely
They're
amazing.
just stupid.
Yeah, they're very stupid, and they'll admit it. But seeing that live was like perfect. Like I love that build of a song where it's slow and then it just kicks in, and it does it several times in that song. That's definitely one of the highlights. And I like a very well written story song that's clearly not about any of them.
Right.
It's also got a song, Full Blown Meltdown, that's fucking heavy as shit. Like the heaviest thing they've ever done. At the end, the very end, it's got a breakdown that's like metal. Like
yeah, I know exactly
it's
what you're
just like,
talking about. Yeah, I heard that and I was like,
yeah, and then it's just like, give me like a little bit more of that.
Yeah,
because
give me
then
some
it
more
goes
of that
into
metal
a beautiful
influence,
song
yeah.
after that too. The album is very well laid out with that, but yeah, that fucking they got like sludgy rock shit in there. It's fucking incredible. See You at Your Funeral is a song I think everybody seems to love. Like that's one where everyone's like, that's the song I like from it. Yeah, it's a solid album. The last song they always do is like always kind of a weird story song that's kind of like very like out there, and I don't like that one on this. That's one of the songs that definitely brought it down. But yeah, otherwise, even the other songs I'm not mentioning, like Free at Last is like beautiful. That's like a chorus about like, are you just gonna keep being sad? And
Yeah.
like shit like that. Like they're just very fun and they're very talented musicians, which is something that I feel like doesn't get pointed out enough for what people say is just like another punk band. But like,
no, there's some definite musical talent with these guys. Like just as a musician, listening to their album, just everything about this I was so impressed by, because I was like, this is a lot of like the I almost want to call it like the sad post emo stuff that I really liked from like the 2005 to like 2012, but just done in an exemplified style. Like it's sad, but this is like musically crafted very well. This isn't just guys playing 4 chords on a guitar.
Yeah,
you
not
know?
at all. Yeah, and they do a lot of cool stuff. Their videos are fucking incredible. Watching the singles from this, they put a lot of time and effort into that. They released a zine to announce the album that I bought with the flexi disc single for kids. And then in that, they gave the guitar chords and the lyrics, and they were like, we're not going to tell you how the song sounds. You make the song, film it, upload it to YouTube, and then we'll let you know if you're right. And like no one was right, obviously.
Well, yeah, of course.
But they released like a video compilation of people playing it, and it was incredible. And like one kid that like won the competition, I think, got a guitar or something, and he's like fucking up while he's doing it. It's beautiful. When I saw them in Chicago, they invited one of the bands from Chicago to play their version of the song that they had never heard before they played their normal version.
Really?
They do a lot of fun, cool stuff. They all seem like super cool dudes. It's definitely, yeah, if you like that type of punk stuff, you should know about Pup. Definitely check it out. It's a great ripper of an album.
Ripper
of an album.
It's a ripper, and I like nice things.
Yeah, it felt weird when I said it, but I don't like nice things. So
coming in at number 4 for me is JPEG Mafia's All My Heroes Are Cornballs, coming in with a 7.2.
Damn, Peggy!
Damn, Peggy! Just slightly outshining Slipknot. This is, as you know, we have a deep love for JPEG Mafia here on the show. Veteran was one of my albums of the year last year.
I would, if I could go back, it would be on my list probably.
He is
maybe. It's fucking wild.
It's fucking wild. He's just a powerhouse.
He's fucking wild.
And this album is no less wild than Veteran. Some might say.
I feel like it is less.
So I would say it's
like it's more accessible.
I would say this is less accessible
really?
than Veteran. Honest to God, yeah. Now, this is also another case, a very long album, 18 songs long. But the thing about JPEG Mafia is that, confusingly, I can't tell which one of these songs are interludes or not. Because some of them are very short.
That's why I didn't put it on
But then
mine.
a lot of the songs are very short.
That's why I didn't put it on mine, because I tried to score it and it was a daunting task.
It was so daunting to try and score
things like JPEG
this.
Mafia type beat.
And like Buttermilk Jesus type beat, which is a song I fucking love, by the way.
See, I hate like the JPEG Mafia type beat, because it's just nonsense, like just for the sake of nonsense, I feel. And I'm like, is this a song? Because I would rate this low if it's not a song.
Well,
then
and that is what I say is the main glaring flaw of this album, is that some of this, it's like, are these songs? You know?
I listened to a podcast or interview with him, and he said like this is meant to feel like his demos. Like he wanted everything to be shockingly raw.
It feels a lot like that, especially on the last, I would say,
all the
a quarter to a third of the album is a lot of him talking with this woman, and it sounds like he's just showing off the songs.
Yeah, and she's like kind of pitching
ideas. She's like commenting. It's almost like it's a weird look into how JPEG Mafia writes his music.
I agree 100%.
Because a lot of this album, I don't want to say it feels like half-cooked ideas, but I feel like after the success of Veteran, there was almost this like, where do I go from here? Because Veteran, to me, it sounds it's very like a black and red kind of sounding album. Like it's very dark. It's got these very hard tones in it, like Rainbow Six, like that beat on there. Like there's nothing like that on this, unfortunately. There's no beats like...
Well, he had said for Veteran, it was meant to feel like being a veteran, like all the feelings from
like
war
a lot of the
and
anger and the PTSD and stuff.
And this is just... Yeah, I think this is a reaction to Veteran, because on Twitter he went off and was like, for everyone that wanted Veteran 2, it's never going to happen.
And
like,
I wasn't looking for a Veteran 2 with this, and I'm not saying that this album is lesser than Veteran comparatively. Right. I'm just saying Veteran is where like I came in seeing him live for the first time, was on the Veteran tour circuit. I got that beloved hoodie that I wear everywhere, you know. It's like I have a very $80 folks.
And
if that hasn't been
hoodies
mentioned
on
before.
this tour, $60.
Yeah, and but also
pulled one over on the white man.
Also I didn't like the hoodie design on this tour as much as I did that one though. So I feel like this one was worth $80 more than the $60.
I got the vinyl and it's going for $130. So if anyone wants to give me $400, I'll sell it.
one of the things I read about this album is that he is just so forward in the mix on this one. And when you listen to this is an album, and I cannot stress this enough, you have to listen to this with headphones. You cannot listen to this on your phone. You cannot listen to this off a Bluetooth speaker. You can maybe play it in the car if it's being played loud enough. But like, you're not going to get the subtleties in the production just by listening to it on your phone.
The one thing about this album is like, how do you do that? Like, how
it
seems like such a mess in a good way, but like, how do you even, and then to play them live, to make them a structured song and then play them live is absolutely insane.
Because even the songs that are structured on here, they're everywhere. They're everywhere. Like, Thought Tactics, Keenan vs. Kel, Beta Male Strategies,
Forgive Me,
I Am a Thought, all fantastic songs, but lacking conventional strong writing and structure. And
when I found the single Jesus Forgive Me, I'm a Thought, and I sent it to you, you were like, how is it? Or I couldn't find it to send it to you. I was like, try to find it, and you were like, how is it? And I was like, I don't know.
Yeah,
it's all over the place.
Well, because
people say things are all over the place.
It is all over the place. Yeah. This is not an accessible album. This is not where I would jump in with JPEG Mafia. I
don't know where you do that. I feel like
I feel like Veteran is the place to hop in.
I feel like there's more accessible songs, a lot more singing.
A lot of clean singing, a lot of auto tune.
Like Free the Frail.
Free the Frail is one of my favorite songs that's come out this year. The more I listen to it, I'm like,
if you want to like hear JPEG Mafia for what we appreciate for him, I think Free the Frail is the perfect song. And then if that tickles your fancy, understand that going forward everything is going to be a little bit crazier, I think there's still redeemable things there.
And part of what made this album hard to review was that like you have to sit there and do it because everything blends together so well.
I basically gave up. I feel like it would be on my top 10, but I just couldn't.
Well, because like I remember I was making food and I was listening to it, and then before I'd known it, 5 songs had gone by, and they just blend together so seamlessly. I'm like, it doesn't feel like
I have a hard time even finding the ones I want to go back to specifically, because it's so intertwined in itself.
If it wasn't for my playlist that I just throw every song that I like on, it would almost be hard to distinguish what songs I exactly liked from this, because it's almost one of those things where the pieces of it are better than the entirety as a whole. But because of the way the album is structured, staggered, and put together, it comes across as almost one cohesive piece of music, and that's part of why it ended up. I was surprised with the ranking that it got.
I am too.
Honestly, I thought it would rank lower on the list than some of these projects, but the songs that I enjoyed, I really, really enjoyed on here, because I have a love for that type of unconventional beat. I love unconventional production and rap. I love noise music. I love avant-garde stuff. So a lot of that just weird influence going into this already made me appreciate what he's trying to do, but I don't necessarily see everyone who's been into JPEG Mafia loving this. You know, if you stand Veteran, you're not gonna like this album. If this is
that's what I mean. I feel like it's a reaction. Like, I want to go in a different.
Well,
he
and
seems very much like that type of artist.
Well, and like I said, where Veteran sounded so black and red to me, this has so many flourishes of color throughout it, while still feeling very digital and sterile in a way. You know, it's like there's not a lot of human warmth to this music, but there's warmth in it somehow. Right. You know, like there is a human aspect to it. It's like there is a human twisting these dials and making these beats, even though it sounds so mechanical and put together.
I just don't even understand. Like, I don't think I could do that.
It's like I said, it's very conflicting, the score I gave it, but I listened to it 3 times, and going through, I agreed with my ranking on the songs pretty much every time. And I think just the fact that I am a big JPEG Mafia fan, just if I was a casual JPEG Mafia fan, this would have ranked a lot lower.
I don't even know. That's just an oxymoron.
I know, like you're either a huge JPEG fan or you're not.
You hate
you know,
it. I don't even think you're not a fan. I think you despise it.
And it's like, and once again, this is an album, and I think this is what's going to go for the next couple. This is not an album for everybody. This isn't something where you're going to hang out with your friends and put this on the Bluetooth speaker and jam it, you know?
Well, you can, but you won't have friends
Yeah, they're not going to be your friends. Yeah. And if you do have friends that you can play this with, you all need girlfriends and you need to get a job.
Yeah. All right, coming in at number 3 for me is Purple Mountains by Purple Mountains by Purple Mountains. Purple Mountains, self-titled, coming in at a 7.625. Same as Pup number 4. This I feel like is the one I'm going to have to explain the most about. I found that this is the newest to the list. I literally found this like 2 months ago, maybe, based off of looking at sites where that had compiled albums of the year. I usually do that because I feel like I always miss out on something. And when I'm compiling my list, I like to see what else is going on out there. So I listened to a ton of shit, and nothing really stuck out to me. This did. The cover art and the genre intrigued me. Basically what it is, David Berman, who is from a band called the Silver Jews, they were around for a long time. In 2009, they disbanded. Since 2009, there's been nothing from him. He went off, basically disappeared. So this year, he formed this band, which is him and I forget the backing band, but they've existed and still tour, and made this album. This thing immediately, when I listened to it, I was blown away. Like this is my sad album. I feel like every year I have a really sad album. This one gets sad as shit. But it's just very raw. The first song I listened to was the first song. I usually go for these type of things. We've discussed it. Go to Spotify and listen to the most popular songs from an album if I'm just jumping in blindly.
Right, yeah.
And so I did that, and it ended up being the first song on the album, which is a 10 out of 10 song for me. Like, I don't give a lot of songs 10. Like, I feel like it has to be.
You're much harder on your ratings than I am.
I'll do a 9. I'll do a lot of 8s, a shit ton of 7s.
Yeah, I've done a shit ton of 7s and 8s.
But 10, like, there's probably a handful of songs on here. The first song from this project, That's Just the Way I Feel, is a 10 out of 10 song. And I was instantly like, holy shit. And then just listening through the whole album, it's very upbeat music with very raw, sad lyrics.
Yeah, I listened to this. I listened to this app because you. This was a couple of weeks ago. We were getting ready to set up to record, and Drama was just telling me about this album, and he just sounded so amazed and blown away by it. I was like, I got to go home and listen to this. And yeah, it's exactly what you're saying. It is this fun, upbeat kind of indie rock music.
Right.
Very
country vibes. Some nice like feel like I'm in a desert, you know what I
mean?
Yeah, Western.
Yeah, like kind of like, and I almost felt about it the same way I did about Orville Peck. It's like there's a country influence in there without necessarily being country.
Right.
But goddamn the lyrics. Oh my God. I went on Genius and read along while I was listening to it. Jesus.
The writing in this is impeccable. There's a song called All My Happiness Is Gone. That is the chorus. That's pretty much, you can garner from the title what the song is about. So basically, this album was released in July, and then in August, David Berman killed himself. And I listened to an interview with him. I became instantly, I loved the album. Then I found this out, and then it's just one of those spiraling things, because the more I look into it, listening to it after he committed suicide and seeing people talk about it, it feels like a suicide note.
It makes it far more poignant.
Yes.
Because when you were describing it, I was like, this sounds like something I'll listen to. But then when you told me that, I almost wish you hadn't told me that.
I know.
And then I found
That's
it out on my own.
Exactly how I feel.
Because
I hate saying that, but I feel like all of this
but
information
it makes it more poignant.
Yeah, make people look into it. Because, I've listened to interviews with him. There's, a 10-year gap of nothing. You come back for you make an album 1 month later, you kill yourself. Like, you had these things to say before you left this earth. It feels like a suicide note. The writing is insane. Like, the whole thing is great, but there's, specific points. Like, in the song I love, That's Just the Way I Feel, there's a line that's, now we stand the standard distance, distant strangers stand apart. And like just that was the first thing I heard out of all of this. And just like something written like that, I'm like very particular with like lines and shit like that, like very well written little things that I feel like to other people would be like, oh, but like the structure of
those
that
are things
line
that
you
think about all day and stay stuck in your head.
I can't quit thinking about it.
And then you feel insane because no one else is going to appreciate it like you do.
I'll be like loudly saying it to someone who I know isn't appreciating it. I'm like, why don't you get this? And I can be a monster of sorts.
Some might say.
But there's another song called Darkness and Cold. It obviously paints the picture. But part of the chorus is, the light of my life is going out tonight without a flicker of regret. And that's what I mean. Like, the writing in this is absolutely, like, just amazing. And there's so many lines like that where you're just like, one of the other songs, maybe I'm the only one for me, it's talking about, like, not finding anyone, not finding a girlfriend, a boyfriend, a partner of any sort. You see couples being happy. You can't find anyone. One of the lines is, if no one's fond of fucking me, maybe no one's fucking fond of me. Just shit like that. The whole album, the writing is incredible.
God, I remember when I heard that line. That one hit me hard. Like, that's one of those things that just like hit me very hard.
Insane.
You know?
Yeah. There's a song called she's making friends and I'm turning stranger, which means like I'm like he said basically he was
Basically,
with the
what
woman.
she thinks I Still Care About George Jones was about.
Exactly. But yeah, basically like he said there was a long period when like his first band broke up that he just became very introverted and weird, and his wife at the time, who he got divorced from, was going out and talking to people, and he was just staying inside and becoming a stranger to her because she was going out. Like there's again, I'm just going to keep saying the writing is incredible. And yeah, the Darkness and Cold song is a song he wrote about divorcing his wife and knowing that one day she would date someone else. And he wrote a song so when it happened in real life, it wouldn't be as devastating to him because
you
he lived
told me
through
this,
it
and it just hurts
by
me
writing.
every time I hear
Yeah,
it.
like the
Like,
man
that
was
is such
very
a hurtful, sad thing.
Yeah, and that's the thing is the album is still very upbeat. Like it's like we joked about the Tiny Rick thing.
Mhm.
Like it's like that where you're like this is fun. Like or like Future sometimes where you're like this is fun. Then you listen and you're like this isn't fun at all. But I'm still having
Future's
fun
not
listening
having
to
fun
it.
at all.
Yeah, it's shit like that. This, out of any of my albums, I think this is one of the more poignant ones to listen to. If you're into this type of shit, obviously don't get too big into a whole of it because it'll fuck your life up. But just for artistically, out of any album, this is by far the most like valuable piece of art as opposed to some of the other shit on my list. Like the writing is incredible.
I don't know. Does it stand up artistically to DaBaby?
Oh. What are we talking, Kirk or Baby on Baby?
The mix of both. It's the perfect album.
Then no, of course not. But yeah, I mean, like, there's a million things I could say about it. Again, the writing, it's incredible. The structure of it. There's some songs on it that, again, aren't as great. It's not like a flawless project or things that I don't relate to. But yeah, it's just fucking. And I listened to an interview with him on a podcast, and he said, like, he struggled with suicide and drug addiction and stuff. And
because you mentioned he had that uncurable depression.
Yeah, he said he was diagnosed with just uncurable depression, where there's just no medicine will work, nothing will do. Like, and he said in like the 10 years that he was gone, there was over 100 nights where he thought for sure he would not wake up the next day.
And that is such a scary, hard thing to hear.
So it's one of those things where like I don't fault him for leaving the world. I'm fully with that. You know what I mean? I think it was in his 50s. Like it's not great.
If you made it to your 50s with uncurable depression, it's like
10 years and there's 100 nights where you thought you wouldn't wake up the next day. That's 10 days a year. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like the man was clearly very sad. I find art like this morbidly fascinating because if that is like, what a suicide note, you know what I mean? Like that's what I mean. What a piece of actual art, not just great music, but like, that's what I mean. I feel like it's something everybody should check out because of its artistic merit and like the thought of going, and I don't know if he planned to kill himself or not, but like the thought of like knowing that that's a possibility and these songs feel like it feels clear once you have that knowledge that was the idea.
Mm-hmm.
It just overall, again, it's definitely the most important album on my list and something you should check out if you're into some sad ass shit.
Coming in at number 3 for me is IDK's Is He Real, coming in with a 7.4.
I've seen you on the internet standing this out. And I didn't know.
It's this was one of those albums. The best way I can describe this is the agnostic Jesus is King. Because Where Jesus is King was very much an album about Kanye's love for Jesus. The he in the title is God. So the album is a concept album discussing the validity of whether or not God is real. And a concept like this has 2 avenues it can go down. That one.
That's my favorite one to go down.
It's either going to go down an avenue that is very corny and comes across like a condescending 13-year-old, well, can you prove that God is real? Or
very pandering.
Or it comes across as a intellectual discussion with good points being brought up and, you know, a good discussion about the validity of whether or not God is real. And that's where it really falls into for me. IDK is somebody where his past albums haven't really been anything that stood out to me before.
Yes, that's what I think.
But he's on paper said that his 2 biggest influences when it comes to rap is Kanye West and Frank Ocean. And to me, anybody that's going to stand those 2 guys is somebody that I'm definitely going to stand behind as an artist. And a lot of that does show on the production.
What's funny is he had tweeted some song didn't make the album because Frank didn't clear it, and everyone was like, "You wouldn't hold your album for a Frank feature? What the fuck?" And even I was like, "I don't even listen to you, but you gave up a Frank feature."
I know.
And then he eventually was like, "It's just like a sampled chorus," and everyone was like, "Okay, continue on, IDK."
Right, keep going,
really,
IDK.
You really fucked up for a minute there.
Well, and the album opens with an intro, and it's basically somebody asking a little boy what happens when you die. And the little boy is like, you leave your body and you start floating up and you start floating higher and faster and you get to heaven. And that's when you realize God's not fucking real. And then and then this production wise, this is one of my favorite rap albums that came out this year. This has those big fat old like
I've only heard like 2 songs off of it and not in context.
The two singles that came out off of it were 24, which has a fantastic, I want to say, humble style piano to it.
I feel like that. Yeah,
And then the other one was Digital, which is the big single that came out.
I heard that one.
And contextually in the album, they make more sense, but they also make sense as singles, because, obviously he wants to make something to promote the album with.
Right.
It's not strictly just a very serious concept, So there's the intro track with that, and then there's an interlude track where he's actually talking with Tyler, the Creator, about his views on faith. And that sort of comes down to Tyler saying that he believes there is something greater out there, but you can't put a definite stamp on what it is. He definitely wakes up and believes in a God every day, but like I think the song is actually called like "You Do You," and like that's what he ends it with. He's like, "But that's what I just believe. Everybody can do what they want. You do you. One of the standout songs from this project is called Porno, and it has a Pusha T feature on it, so automatically I'm obsessed with it. But it brings up the point of, he talks a lot about like morality and, how you view women as a man and whether or not your religion makes you view women differently.
And then Pusha T's like, "I got snow for days."
Literally, that's what it's like, and he ends his verse with, he's like, "And that's what happens when you're exposed to pornography at age 6. And then Pusha T's verse come in and he's like, "I got snow for days," and it's like, and there's one of the second to last songs on here. It's called Michael What TF. That's the actual name of the song. It's got one of these really fantastic swaggy beats to it. A lot of his lower 808 style beats are very reminiscent of Yeezus, very reminiscent of My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy style Kanye. And a lot of the clean singing that he does on here seems influenced by Frank, but it's clearly not Frank. You can't get to that Frank level. There's a beautiful track on here called European Sky that it's kind of funny because I was listening to it and I was really getting into this album. I was really getting into it, and I'm listening to this song and I closed my eyes, and right after he said that, he goes, "Close your eyes." And then it's like this weird soundscape that has like violins and nature sounds and like people talking about God. And just sonically, it's one of the best sounding, best produced albums I've heard this year. Conceptually, it kind of ends with this sort of like, it answers, "Is he real?" with sort of a shrug and a question mark, because at the end of the day, that's what agnosticism is about. It's about just acknowledging we can't prove it, so there's nothing we can do. The last song on this project is called Julia, and it hits hard. This song hits just as hard as the Saba song where he explains how his cousin died and everything like that. Julia is the name of his mother, and the verses go back and forth from his own perspective versus mother's perspective. And he basically talks about how he loved his mom, but he was always very distant from her, but she was part of the family. And she started going through some bad things. Her boyfriend, his stepfather, was cheating on her a lot, and she knew about it. And she started getting sick and frail and into a lot of drugs. And he ends the verse with, "And that's when my grandma," it's not verbatim, but it's basically like, "And that's when I didn't believe it when my grandma told me the truth that my stepfather had given her AIDS."
Jeez.
Yeah, it is. It's so heavy for an album that has a song called Digital where he says, "Flashback, digital dash. He used to run with a gun and a mask. He used to put all your shit in a bag. Now he a good boy. Used to be bad." It's like, there's some fun playfulness like this, but that Julia song just hits you right in the fucking chest. And you're like, and he goes, "And that's when she told me my stepfather gave her AIDS." And then it just like, there's just like some ambiance after that. And then it's him having a conversation with somebody, and he says, "What color are my pants?" "Red." "Okay, well, you say they're red, but And I say they're red, but that's because we've been told that that's what red is our whole life. What if you're actually seeing blue? You know, what if we all say the sky is blue, but I'm seeing a green sky or a red sky? And if we as a society can't even agree that we're all seeing the same color, how can we say that there's actually a God?
Right.
And so that's where the album ends. And so it does end with an ambiguous, like, is he real? Does he exist? Does he not? But it's executed in such a fantastic way. The album doesn't overstay its welcome. It's longer because it has some interludes and some shorter tracks. It's not too long. When you look at the bars on the album, there is a lot of talk of theology and goodness and what actually makes man good. And are we good versus what we believe this concept of God to be? It goes very deep if you're willing to get into it. And I think that's why it ended up ranking so high for me, because as I'm listening to it, I'm like, okay, I don't necessarily like this beat, but these lyrics are so goddamn thought-provoking and well thought out that this song has to be a 9, you know, right, or it has to be an 8. And, you know, I may not necessarily like the singing on this song, but this beat goes so fucking hard, or there's a beat switch on here that just hits me like a ton of bricks. And it's like, it continuously surprises you. It continuously gives you something good to think about. And it's one of those albums where you can get as deep into it as you want to. If you really want to get into the concept and what he's, you know, theologically talking about, you can look into it. If you want to enjoy it at a face value for how the album sounds and how some of the beats are, because like some of these beats make me go buck fucking wild. Like when I hear that piano on 24, I want to like just start hitting shit, you know? But it's not something where it's not a conventional rap album, you know, right, but it also isn't, it at sometimes feels like it's taking itself too seriously, and it almost, where it starts to feel like you're going to tread in that cringy 13-year-old agnostic territory, it'll take 2 steps back into that comfortable zone where you're like, okay, this isn't preachy. This isn't trying to sway you to think one way or the other. This is just a man presenting what he thinks and what his argument is for him not believing in God. And I think in a year where an album called Jesus is King was put out by one of the biggest rap stars of the last decade, something like this is almost like a cool drink of water in comparison, where right, Jesus is King was a slog to get down. This goes down very easy, and this is a good way to talk about theological discussions without having it be corny or shoved down your throat, you know? Right. And that's why it came at number 3 for me.
Nice. Number 2 for me is Baby Keem, Die for My Bitch.
Oh, I thought that was going to be number 1.
No, it's number 8 through 12. I don't know what that meant. It's coming in at a hot 7.8. I had no idea who Baby Keem was before this year began.
I was going to say, this all came very quickly, in my opinion. Because suddenly I one day found out we're on the Baby Keem train and there's no getting off.
Yeah, the brakes are broken, baby. We're shoveling coal and Baby Keem. Baby Keem, I believe, if we continue on this trajectory, 2020, I could see him being like a stupidly huge artist. Like, absolutely insane.
We'll see in a year after his album rollout is disappointing.
Yeah. Well, he fucking
cancels live twice.
I managed to see him live. I have so much to say about it. Dave Free from Top Dog Entertainment left TDE, home of Kendrick Lamar, Isaiah Rashad, Schoolboy Q, and the rest.
What did you just call him?
Huh?
What did you say?
Schoolboy Q?
Sounded like you said Pool Boy Q. And
yeah, Pool Boy Q, his pool cleaner. Okay, we had 2 different ones. Fun. He left to work with just Baby Keem. So that in itself
should say something about where the kid's at, yeah.
But yeah, I found this, I believe, off of YouTube when I just go on a random dive of like what are the poppin' rap videos. And I was listening to Pop Smoke, Welcome to the Party, when I found that, which is a banger. And then it played a Baby Keem song, and I was like, what is this? The best way for me to sum it up, Baby Keem, is like Playboy Cardi without the meme. You know what I mean?
Yeah. That's like, a really good way of summing that up.
Honestly, because I love Playboy Cardi. We both do. But you cannot deny a lot of it comes from like...
There's a lot of internet culture that lends credence to his mythology, if you will.
Yeah, and like the baby voice and everything that makes him great, but it becomes kind of a joke, even though it's not, and I sincerely enjoy his music. Mm-hmm. Baby Keem seems like a more refined version of that, has the little voice at times, has the fucking bangers, has the crazy shit. But this album has an insane range. Like, one of the biggest songs off of it is Honest, which is just, like, a beautiful, like, the alt-rap shit, but without being, like...
Too corny.
Without
being too J. Cole about it.
Right. Well, not even that. More like XXX and, like, this wave of, like, emo rap type shit, but, like, artistically done. Like, sounds better. And there's a song on this called My Ex that is, like, the acoustic, like... And I don't like that. That's why this probably isn't number one, honestly, is just because of that song.
I think that's just a product of the times, though. If you're going to be a young rapper.
He's 19 or something. I don't know. He's baby Keem. But yeah, I listened to the album, and like obviously like Orange Soda is the big song off of it, which is fucking great. But like, yeah, there's some insane beat switches. The first song off it, Stats, is like hard as fuck, and then it has like this beautiful like piano and like Die for My Bitch, and then it comes in hard again, but in a whole different way. One of my favorite songs off of it, the one that like really kept me like going to the project, because I listened to Project initially and I liked it a lot, but I like didn't think about it too much. And there's a song, France Freestyle, is fucking hard as shit, and it's like a long song. That's the other thing too. I feel like there's a lot of rappers nowadays that can make bangers that are short or kind of sloppy, and there's a bunch of chorus and like not a lot. Like there's songs with like 3 full verses and just hard lines. He's got really funny lines. One of my favorite things is there's a song called Rockstar P, and it's like, she got rockstar pussy, she don't get old. She got rockstar pussy, she don't get cold. Bitch tall, put tissues in my insoles. Which is like, it's just fucking hilarious.
Yeah.
And again, it's the same thing like we were talking about with, I think, Big Baby Scumbag, where you're like, anyone else saying that, I would turn the shit off. Like, sometimes people can say, like, funny, jokey, weird lines, and it works incredibly. And he's got a ton of that. I'm the Black Brad Paisley, he says in a song. Like, there's hilarious lines. What is the one? There's one in France Freestyle that's like, bow-legged ass bitch, I don't use hands, ho, talking about like fighting her man. And just like lines like that. And then yeah, there's like really beautiful songs. There's like really poppy songs, like Invented It sounds like a really like pop rap song. Rap genre of the year.
This is just a fun album.
Yeah,
at the end of the
day, and it's good. It's not too fun, it's not too serious. It has all of the moments that you want. Like, honestly, for a kid this young,
a 19-year-old, yeah.
I'm blown away by the fact that it's such a good album. We were able to see him live in Chicago, and it was a fucking incredible show. Like, again, going to see a kid rapper nowadays, being an old man, I don't expect much at all. I expect rapping over vocals, if even rapping at times.
Right, yeah.
I expect just very awkward live performances.
You're not expecting any type of showmanship out of a 19-year-old.
I couldn't even find a live video of him. Like, I didn't even know if he had played shows before. And he was in Chicago, and it ended up being the first date on the tour. And I was blown away. He had such a good show, and like good crowd interaction, good like setting it up. Like, there's a song called Mosh Pit that's like,
I fucking love that song.
So
song
hard,
so
and it has like a beat switch into what feels like a completely different song, where he just goes aim 50 cent, and it's hard as shit. And he like came out to just that part, and then later played Mosh Pit in full with the I am 50 Cent part again. Like, clearly has been coached on like live show, holds the mic properly, which
well,
like,
I mean, if he's got the guy from TDE,
I think it's very much that.
He's definitely got some good mentorship.
And this has made me go back to his last album, which came out last year. I forget the name of it, and like listen, because seeing him live, there were songs where I was like, I got to figure out what this song is. And listening to that project, like the growth is like insane between the two projects, and like there's so many people like shouting him out and like fucking with him. After Chicago, he went to Toronto, played a show in like a 400 cap room that Drake came to watch from the side of. Drake.
Wow.
And like, I follow him on Instagram.
I'm saying, say what you want about Drake in 2019, but like if Drake's coming to your show
in a 400 cap
just to
room,
see what you're
just
about,
to see you, and he put it on his Instagram story,
yeah.
like, and he's liked all of his pictures. Like, I'll go look at his Instagram, and there's like Smino and like Kenny Beats and Drake.
Yeah,
and,
like he's getting the recognition.
People
from
are
the good
paying
people,
attention.
yeah.
Like, all the good rappers are paying attention.
Oh man, can you imagine some Kenny Beats production on the next Baby Keem album?
Well, he produces a lot too. He produced Num Num Juice.
Really?
Yeah, he's produced something off of the Black Panther soundtrack. There's a huge rumor that he's Kendrick's little cousin. And there's a lot of things, what am I saying? A lot of things that tie into that. Like, it makes sense, you know. The TDE connection is very strong. Producing Num Num Juice, the best song off of Crash.
Who was that guy that just put out an album? Somebody said that he's like a relation to Kendrick Lamar. I gotta look it up after.
Yeah,
the show.
apparently everyone's related to Kendrick Lamar.
Yeah, if you're good and you're from the West Coast, you're related to Kendrick
There's
Lamar.
There's people paying attention, and yeah, I'm worried Drake's gonna do the thing, like hop on a song or get him on a song and then just give him the stimulus package and get rid of him. And I think he doesn't need that. There's clearly interest from people like Drake. That's what I mean. and I don't even want to say like refine a project because I think this is pretty damn refined.
Yeah.
But like continue on this trajectory and get like the Orange Soda song, they put a video out for it. It's picking up. Like I feel like just one song, and I feel like he could be like a huge presence for the next couple of years. But yeah, it came out of nowhere for me. It's my favorite rap album of the year. I'll say that much. And like definitely worth checking out if you like that fun shit without too many memes about it yet.
Yeah. Coming in at number 2 for me is Employed to Serve's Eternal Forward Motion, coming in at an 8.0.
I didn't know we could just make things up.
This is a thing. It's a real thing. You can look it up.
Nope. My computer shut off.
This is a band from the UK. They are this is the best heavy project that's come out this year for me.
I feel like I saw it on year-end lists and might have listened to a song or two.
This
of
is
it
a-
and been like, I hate this. Slim will love it because he likes good things.
Yeah, I only like good things. Traditionally, I only like good things. And I like good things.
Now you've ruined it.
I know.
How does it feel?
Like I do with everything else, feels pretty standard. I'll drink to that. These guys started in 2014. They're a UK group. They're young kids. They are what makes these guys so great for me is that they worship Slipknot and they worship Norma Jean and the Chariot. And those are like 3 heavy bands that shaped how I feel about heavy music, how I like heavy music.
Did you ask him if you could join the band?
I want to at this point. Jesus
We'll
Christ.
reach out to him. I didn't understand what you said, but we'll get in touch with their people.
Employed to Serve.
Yes, I don't know about that.
Well, their lead singer is it's a woman, which is usually unheard of in these type of metalcore heavy scenes, and she's just got this fantastic. It doesn't, because sometimes you hear these female screamers in metal and it's like they're trying to be men. She's not trying to be a man. It's still a very feminine scream that she has without sounding like whiny and horror movie, you know. She is actually engaged to the guitar player, so they're actually a couple that's been together before the band even formed.
Real No Doubt situation.
Real No Doubt situation. I was reading an interview with them, and they asked the guitar player, like, is there any like weird things that come along with having your fiance be in a band with you? And he said that it's good because you have that sense of familiarity and comfort. When you're out on the road, you don't feel so lonely. But when something goes wrong in the band, you end up bringing it home with you.
Yeah.
And then, you know, you don't want to always bring it home. But when you're engaged to the lead singer, you like, because he mentioned like there was this really big tour they were supposed to go on and it fell through, and like they both came home and they were both just like mad and yelling about it. And it's like, you know, there's no separation there when you work together and then you just bring it home together, you know. But this album is just a beautifully executed example of what heavy music should be, because there's so much of it I listen to and it's clearly just cookie cutter. It's people just copying styles and just doing what they learned how to play on, you know, ultimateguitar.com. This stuff is visceral. This stuff is hard. This stuff has these nasty feeling breakdowns. Even just the first track alone, 2 minutes into the album, there's a breakdown that is a classic breakdown for me. And it's like just the way these songs are written. You can tell these guys were listening to Slipknot a lot growing up. They were trying to figure out the songs by ear. Because like a lot of even just the technique that I hear just being displayed in a lot of these songs, I'm like, this could be like a Slipknot demo from 15 years ago, or this could have been like on a Norma Jean album back in like 2003, you know? It almost reminds me of the way the lead singer screams reminds me a lot of Julie Christmas from Band of Mice, if you've ever heard of them at all. By your face, I see that you clearly haven't.
I stopped listening, actually.
It's just, this is why I got into music like the Acacia Strain, Slipknot, Norma Jean, because I was looking for just very brash expressions of emotion, because it doesn't always need to be very angry. And that's the thing about metal music that people don't understand. It doesn't always have to be angry. It can sometimes just be very intense and very nihilistic and dark without being angry. Yeah. And sometimes it just comes across as very angry music, but there's a song on here called Force Fed, and it is just a 3-minute just slapper the entire time. She says, I want to cut my ears off if I have to hear you talk your stupid shit one more time. And it's like this, it's like, this is the type, you're right. It's like, this is the type of shit I want to hear. And it's one of these albums where it just goes and goes and goes. Like, you listen to the first track, Eternal Forward Motion is the first song, and you're like, this is amazing. Can this get any better? And then the second song starts playing. It's called A Dull Ache Behind My Eyes. And you're like, this is this is just as good. Can this get any better? And then the third song starts, and it's like, and it just keeps going up and up and up for me. I get so excited when I listen to this because it's like I remember being young and hearing "Bless the Martyr, Kiss the Child" by Norma Jean and "Iowa" by Slipknot for the first time, and just getting so fucking pumped up and just being like, this is why I like this shit. You know, that thing where I get way too excited about things.
I know.
That's how I get every time I listen to this album, because it's like, it's very rare for me at my age to hear a heavy album and be blown away by it. Like, I'm going to like it, but a lot of the heavy music I'm listening to is from bands that I've listened to my entire life, you know? So I'm not going to be blown away by it. These are new guys on the scene. They started in 2014 and they just keep getting bigger every year. This is a heavy band I would want to go see live. Like, if I could get this album experience from front to back played live, it would be perfect. It's visceral, it's angry, it's unique in its sense where it's like you've heard music like this before, but you haven't heard it done like this before. And that's why I think it ended up ranking so high for me, because I am very critical about a lot of the heavy metal that I listen to because I have such high standards for it. Because with a lot of rap, I have my high standards for it, but there's so much that's put out these days. It's almost hard to find the good quality. That's where a lot of this comes in. I haven't heard a heavy album like this in maybe 10, 15 years that has moved me so much, just even from just the expression of rawness that they're putting out here. I can't talk this album up enough. It was 0.9 points away from being number one. I thought it was going to be number one for a long time, because this is one of those albums where you're pissed off, give it a listen, you're going to like it. You're at home, you're calm, you're going to be wild by the end of this. Like, I can't sit down and have my smoke session listen to this album, because I'm going to get up, I'm going to start punching the air, I'm going to start headbanging, I'm going to have a good time, you know? And that's the whole reason I got into this type of music in the first place, was just to thrash around, have fun. And it's like, you can tell these guys are having fun doing it, because a lot of these heavy bands, it's like, are you even enjoying this? You know, it's like, it just seems so visceral, but it's like, you look at live videos of these guys, you see the passion in what they have, you see the passion when they talk about their art and what they do, and it's like, this is what we need. This is the eternal forward motion that we need going forward with this style of music. Real, genuine talent that's willing to just put it all out there and just make the best possible expression of this type of art that they can. And that's why this ended up ranking so high for me, just because it is so emotionally striking. So if this is a type of music that you enjoy, I would say listen to it from start to finish. You know, don't even give a song a break. Just take the whole project in. But if you want to give it a shot and see if it's something for you, I could recommend the songs Eternal Forward Motion, Harsh Truth, Force Fed, and Ode Zero. Those are all songs to me that just really stood out with just this like bold message of like not taking shit and not putting up with the shit that you have to put up with in your everyday life, you know? So Employed to Serve, Eternal Forward Motion, just go fucking listen to it. It's fucking incredible.
A ripper, some might say.
Some might say a ripper that is only filled with good things.
Oh, no. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we've done it. Coming in at number one.
If you've made it this far.
Why? Yeah, big, sloppy, nasty drum roll, ladies and gentlemen. Not actually. It'll break the equipment. Pew, 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 Optimal Lifestyles.
I knew it. I hadn't heard it yet, so I knew it was...
Coming in at an 8.27. We've been waiting for fucking years. And it's finally here. And it's fucking great.
It's beautiful.
Great.
It's wonderful. It's everything you wanted out of a Pew album and more.
But first listen, I was like, I don't know if I want any of this.
Same.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So yeah, it's been fucking... They've had issues with their label or whatever their situation was. Self-titled album came out years ago. It was repackaged as Plus One, I think, in 2017. Yeah, it was on one of our year-end lists. Anyway.
I think it was your year-end list the first year we did this.
Yeah, I think it was 217.
217? It is late where we're at.
So if after midnight, folks. So yeah, I've been waiting for this forever. Obviously, Pew is a big band for both of us. Huge fans. And it felt like we were getting to the point where, like, what the hell is going on? You know what I mean? I don't like to rush
when is something
albums,
coming, you
but
know?
like it felt. I had even tweeted one day, like, I had a dream a Pew album came out, and I woke up and I was disappointed. And they retweeted and they were like, yeah, us too. So it was clear that there was something happening. And we don't know the details, but what we got is a fucking ripper of an album.
Some may say.
Yeah, it's fucking great. And yeah, first listen through, I loved it, of course. It's incredible. But the sense of maturity on this is, like,
agreed,
insane. because obviously if you've listened to Pew, which you should have.
Yeah, if you listen to this, you've probably listened to Pew.
The previous album, there's a ton of drinking, partying,
hanging out with your friends,
some sports, some skateboarding,
some pizza,
just, you know what I mean?
Clot.
Like, that's what when I found them, that's what I loved, is like anthem songs about drinking, even when it's not glamorous but still fun. This is like the very not glamorous, you know what I mean? Like the figuring out how to grow up but still do the things that you love. To me, is what I get from it.
To me, this album is almost like the day after A Night of That. Where Plus
Very
One
much.
was the crazy party. Optimal Lifestyles is the hungover breakfast with your friends the next morning, where you're still talking and having a good time, but you're starting to realize, like, I'm getting older. I can't keep doing this every weekend.
Exactly.
Oh my God, I am an adult now. I'm a human with responsibilities, kind of thing.
And I think there's a lot more like the songs feel stronger. Like it feels like more of a song. It starts off with the first song is like just a beautiful anthem about like the same thing. Like we're getting older. We haven't hung out in a while. We can still do the same things. We're the same people.
Mm-hmm.
You can stay on my couch. Just fun shit. And then there's like 65 Nickels, which is a very fun song, like something I didn't expect from them at all.
It's got I Don't Matter at All.
Which is the
10 out of 10 perfect
same
song.
thing where it's like, yeah, this is not what I was expecting. It's definitely like more poppy in a good way. You know what I mean?
It's pop punk, but I don't want to say that and have people think in the vein of like Newfound Glory or Blink-182.
Right, yeah,
you know?
it's very much not that.
It still has that blood that they had in the first one. It still has the same base of like partying with your boys, having a drink, but it's like these are boys that have grown up and have been a bit more seasoned by the world.
And I think that's pointing out, like songs like Drinking Days are so poignant of like, this is what we're doing, and like even when I can't do this, I'm gonna remember these moments. And like the sadness you feel at times from drinking and partying, but like it's what you want to do. But yeah, coming to terms with like this isn't a sustainable lifestyle.
And it's like Point Break is one of my favorite songs off that project. And while it is just a song about the movie Point Break,
which that's what I love, is like the one thing I do want to point out is while it shows a lot of growth and maturity, not in a way that was like necessary in the same way with like Pup, like I didn't need it to go here, but like I find I'm connecting with it a lot more because of it. There are still opportunities to make an entire song about the movie Point Break.
Or a song called I Want to See a Wolf, where it's just about...
well, that one, you guys fucking shit on that song. And that to me is like one of the most like feeling trapped, and like at the end when he's like, I want to be the wolf, like I don't get what we're missing about the wolf song. I love that's one of my favorite. I feel like that all the time.
It just sounded so weird the first time I heard it, and it doesn't sound it just sticks out. It just sticks out like not a sore thumb, because it's not bad,
right?
It's just I'm listening to this album about getting older and like still trying to be the same person, but then I want to see a wolf.
It starts off weird, but then once
I think about it, I'm like, this is the same band where I got Let's Order a Pizza, and I'm like, okay, this is
not even that. Like, it's very much so a song about like I want to be free, and I feel like what I'm looking to see is what I actually want to do. Like it's like that's what I love about it, is it sounds stupid and it's very like whatever, but then it still has a very strong
once
message.
You realize what it's about, it's good.
And that's
why
I'm always a sucker for, like I want to see a wolf and then I want to be the wolf, like just the subtlest, like one word changes and changes the whole meaning of the line. Point Break with the fucking saxophone.
Oh,
what
it's so good.
Like that, I would have, if you would have been like, you want a saxophone and a Pew song, I would have been like, no, never. I actually want that to stay all the way.
Now I want all the
songs. And then it's so beautiful that I'm almost certain I will die in a car crash from me mimicking a saxophone in my car. As soon as that starts, just when it breaks out, because first listen, you're just like, what the fuck?
Well, and that ended up being one of my top songs on Spotify for the year, because it's so short.
Yeah.
And you can just play it over and over again.
I've never even watched Point Break, and I'm gonna now.
I have, so I get it. But at the same time, that's still a very sad song when you listen to it.
Yeah,
like that,
it is.
that last lyric bit always gets me. I wasn't thinking you'd make me someone I hate.
Yeah.
I was like,
and it
because
like
that hits me right there. That's one of those lines, because they're good at that. That's what this album is full of, is little lines where I'm like, I have literally had this thought getting older and becoming the person that I'm becoming.
Well, that's what I mean. I feel like they've always been good at that. Like, I always forget what the fucking song is, but the I could suffer through life or have fun till I die. Like the first part of that, where it's like, I'm up all night worrying about whether I'll go to sleep or not. Fuck like that is one of those lines where you're like, holy shit,
Yeah.
you've said what I've been trying to say. But yeah, there's so many like almost every song on it is great. Like Everything's the Same, which is just like a very like just nothing, just the basis with the piano and just a beautiful like story about, again, growing up and realizing we can't do the same shit forever and we haven't seen each other and good time. Adult Party is one of the funniest songs ever and one of the most relatable things, as that's the epitome of what I mean with this. Like, you grow up and like that song is so many interactions I have to go to where it's an adult party and like just the nobody shakes hands anymore, it's all hugging. It's like, yes, I love that. And just like being the guy who, or like don't thank me for those 12 beers because they're mine, and then just drinking more than everybody else at the party, and everybody's gonna go to split a 6-pack, go to bed at 9. Like, when you're like the person who's a fucking animal and you're like, yeah, stuck at this shit. Yeah, it's definitely, that's the theme, is growing up and coming to terms with it. There's still other, like Skate 2 is still fun classic Pew with another skate song, but not like another skate song, like a fucking fun one. We'll do this again until we break our wrist or whatever the fuck it is. Yeah, there's so many songs. The last song, Thirsty and Miserable, is like a perfect closer.
Great anthem.
Yeah, to like, again, it all sounds like the same things. Like, speaking about it, it's definitely something you need to listen to because there's fun songs in between. The Polynesian is like a hilarious song about a hotel in Wisconsin Dells
that we've driven by
there.
and seen and been like, hey, the Pew song.
And then like The Pit and the song about like your parents' liquor cabinet and shit like that and getting underage beer. Like, there's still a lot of the fun tropes. And then there's other songs that are growing past that without losing anything. That's the thing, is so many bands and shit, I feel like, try to mature or change their style or any of the many things that can happen, and they lose something. That's what happens.
Yeah.
You grow out of them, they grow out of you, whatever it might be. I feel like nothing was lost. You know what I mean? It's only improved upon it in a direction I wouldn't have expected or wanted them to take, but I'm so happy that it exists. Like, it's definitely like beautiful, and I'm getting older, and then I'm relating more to it, and then I'm like, fuck, existential crisis. Am I not going to be able to be with my bosom? We're going to be.
Yep.
So it's the perfect, if you're like getting older and you like punk shit and drinking and stuff and you don't know what you're going to do with your life, welcome to this album.
Welcome to Pew Pew Pew.
It will change your shit. Yes, I'm so happy that it exists. I love them.
All right. Coming in at number 1 for me.
I'm so scared.
This is an album I really need to preface this before I talk about this album.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I know it now. I was like, when we get to like the last ones and I don't know what they are, I'm like, oh no. If it's Jesus is King, I'll burn this podcast.
Jesus is King by Kanye West, 10 out of 10, everybody.
Yeah.
It's blonde. It's blonde. It's always blonde.
Die lit
and blonde. So
Die blind or blonde lit?
Blonde lit.
Okay.
Die blonde.
I hope so.
Sounds nice.
You have to. Or no. I called it, folks. You won't get old and gray. Oh, I think I see a grape.
Oh. I want to preface before I start talking about this album. This is a critique on the art of the album. This is a critique on the music itself. This is a critique on the art put forward.
That looked really shitty.
Yeah, that looked so shitty.
My ears hurt so bad.
I know, but that's why I took mine off, because they hurt so
like
bad.
6 hours.
Yeah.
Earmuffs.
The number 1 album of the year for me, coming in with an 8.9 out of 10, is Lingua Ignota's Caligula.
This guy just keeps making shit. That one sounds super crazy.
It's very crazy. Like I said, I just want to preface this by saying that everything I'm about to say about this project is a critique of the album itself, the music, and the art. This is not a critique about what the artist went through that inspired this album. Now, this is an album about a woman who was in an incredibly abusive relationship. Like, this is very dark. This is, the same type of darkness, almost from a Mount Eerie album, but not sad, more so visceral. Very angry, it's almost hard to describe without listening to it or having any type of context to it. This project initially started as she did it as a college project. She went to the School of Music. She's a classically trained musician. She can sing in a classic style. She knows how to play piano. So she's very much trained and versed in classical music, but there's a lot of noise elements that come in with this. So if you're into artists like The Body or Pharmakon or Puce Mary, you're going to find a lot of that noisy female artistry within this. But this is an album about a 5-year relationship that she was in, where he was just very abusive. He was incredibly controlling and manipulative, just the type of thing where, you know, you don't want any woman that you love to have to go through something like this. And it is just unleashed in an album that I can only say sounds like a fuckboy apocalypse. Like, it's the type of thing where, like, if you dated a woman and it went so bad, this is not what you would want to have come out as a response to your relationship, you know? You hate to see it happen, almost. And it's an album that came out of nowhere for me. She's a very recent artist. Her first album came out in 2017, I want to say. And then she put out a shorter project last year. It was 5 songs. Same thing, very visceral, very much about the abuse that she went through. And just right off the bat, it has a very creepy tone to it. The intro track has a lot of piano and just very choral sounding things. So there's almost a very gothic feel to the album. And then the second track, Do You Doubt Me, Traitor, is a 10-minute just behemoth of a song. The first half, it builds very slowly to her sounding very sorrowful and mournful, saying things like, how can I break you so that you won't break me, till she just starts screaming it over and over again. And the last 5 minutes of the track is just this droning bass and drum sound that almost sounds like a witchy covenant spell type of thing happening. I'm getting goosebumps just thinking about how it sounds, because it's very raw. It's hard to listen to. I had to sit down. When I reviewed these albums, I tried to do it in one sitting. I tried to sit down and listen to the whole album, no pauses, just give what I can. I had to take several pauses listening to this album because it is just so hard to hear what this woman went through. There's even a track on here where she has a recording that she recorded of this guy talking to her, saying like, no one's ever going to want to fuck you after I've fucked you. No one's ever going to love you after I've loved you. You're worthless. And he's just like eating while he's just saying these horrible things to her. And she's singing, you know, I believe the song is called Sorrow, Sorrow, Sorrow. And it's just her wailing and just, it's very beautiful singing sometimes, though. It's like these notes are very elongated and it's like they take up space. Like there's no room for anything else on this album to happen, because when it's noise, it's a cacophonous sound. It is just this wall of shrieking and banging. And then when it's quiet, it's almost so subdued and quiet and almost beautiful at some points. There's a song on here called Fragrant Is My Many Flowered Crown, where she's just singing very operatically and beautifully the whole time, singing about how she wants to feel this strength above this person, how she hopes they feel poisoned by their hate, and how they just feel broken down in life, and how she's saying that the smell from your hell is blocked by the fragrance of my many flowered crown. It's written very elegantly. Everything feels very purposefully written. You know, it's not just this woman saying like, I hate you, you were mean to me, you were bad. Like, this is somebody who went through catastrophe, through some of the worst things that nobody should have to go through when they trust someone and love someone, you know? And in a culture in this day and age where we have, you know, the cancel culture and the Me Too culture and everything like that, it's almost very poignant hearing a woman's perspective from an abused type situation presented in such a cathartic way, because I've read so many think pieces on this album. I've read so many comments about it, and it almost feels strange for me as a man to be reviewing it, because it's like I can't relate to what this woman went through. I can't go through the type of pain that she went through. I've been with some shitty girls, but I've never been abused like this.
Right.
You know, she talks about in Do You Doubt Me, Traitor, she's wailing, she's screaming, I can't eat, I can't sleep, I don't eat, I don't sleep. And it's like you just get this sense, it's the reason this album is number one for me is not because it's an album that I can go back and listen to a lot. It's not an album that I can sit here and be like, this is full of bangers, you know? I'm not sitting here playing this on a car drive with my family so we can have some nice relaxing music. You know, this is something I'm listening to in private. And it's just the artistic expression that really moved me so much. Because even because this is something that could have been executed very badly. You know, if I was to explain to you, it's a noise music album from a classically trained musician talking about the abuse that she went through. You know, it could either be very bad or very good, but this is one of those things where it struck me in such a way that, you know, I'm not going to sit here and say I cried to this album, but I felt a lot of very intense emotions listening to it because you can empathize with what she's going through. And she just talks about this sense of powerlessness and this sense of weakness coming through at the end of the album with the last track, I Am the Beast. It is just this powerful statement, just saying, like, because where all the times where she sounds weak and defeated on the album, it's a juxtaposition with how strong and just violent she feels about the situation, where she proclaims that if hell won't take you, my hounds will rip you apart. She's screaming, I am the beast. All I know is violence. All I need is boundless love, which to me is such a very interesting. It almost sums up the album perfectly. All I know is violence. All I need is boundless love. Because this abuse comes from a place of wanting to love your partner and trust your partner. Right. And you're supposed to trust that they're going to keep you safe. And when a person is doing the exact opposite, it gives you this sense of hopelessness and just anger and just these self-reflective thoughts of yourself that aren't true, you know? And so for that, this album gets an 8.9 out of me. It comes to number 1 for the year. And like I said, it's almost hard to describe. I feel like everything I've said doesn't do it justice in a way. Yeah. But once again, like a lot of the music I enjoy, this isn't something everybody's going to like. This is something where I've played.
He only likes good things, folks.
I do only like good things. I've played bits and pieces of this for my girlfriend. I showed her the Do You Doubt Me Traitor song when it came out, and she was like, I don't like this. I just don't like this, you know? It's not something where, like, as a casual music fan, you're going to be able to listen to this. It's an hour and 6 minutes long, so it is daunting to think that you would have to listen to this for over an hour. But the reward at the end of it it's just monumental. Just being able to look at a person who has overcome this type of situation, and in a way, this is almost the best type of revenge against her abuser, because now she's getting recognized, she's getting famous for telling her story about what happened to her through her art and through her music. And it's one of these things where, like I said, as a man, it almost feels strange to me reviewing it, because where I can empathize, I can't go through what she went through, you know? But from an artistic standpoint, this stood out to me more than any album that came out this year, just for originality, for storytelling, for a cohesive album for a project that you can listen to from start to finish and see a clear theme and have a clear sense of what this person went through, and it's expressed very beautifully and horrifically at the same time. You know, it's the perfect juxtaposition of beautiful and fucking terrifying at the same time, and that's why this came in at number 1 for me. I can't overstate it enough. It is not for everyone. This is not a critique of what she went through. This is my critique of her music and the art that she put out to express what she went through. And luckily, it came out on top. It came out at number 1. So, like I said, this isn't something you're all going to listen to and be like, Slim was right. This is the album of the year. But for me personally, this moved me more than any other project. This evoked an emotional response from me more than any other album I listened to this year. Right. And while I was going through and rating these and just picking out my albums, I always knew in my mind, I was like, this has to be on here. I was like, even if it's something where none of our listeners are going to listen to this or get anything out of it, and they won't, but it's like, this is something I felt just needed to be spoken about and needed to be talked about. And honestly, I didn't think it was going to take number 1 when I was ranking it, but then it came out with such a high rating afterwards, and it's like, well, the numbers don't lie, you know?
That's true. If we've learned nothing else, we've learned that the numbers do not lie, folks. There it is, the top 10 projects from each of us for 2019.
We did it!
Let us know if you have any suggestions. Don't tell us we were wrong or stupid or ugly or have tiny penises.
We know these things.
That's fine. Tell us any suggestions you have. We're always down to check some shit out. Tell us, listen to some of this. You know, if you heard something that you're interested in, check it out.
Yeah, if you let us know. If you guys listen to any of this, let us know what you like. Let us know what you don't.
Yeah, tell us if you hated something. That's fine.
Tell us if you listened to all 10 albums and hated all of them.
Yeah, all 20 albums.
Yeah, listen to all 20. Can you imagine listening to 20 albums and not getting a thing out of a single one?
It would be my greatest joy to make someone listen to 20
albums and they got nothing out of it.
We're like, all right, now it's the real top 10 idiots.
They're listening to mine. behind, and they're like, "What the fuck?"
Yeah.
My list was everywhere this year.
Yours was shocking. So yeah, let us know. Give us some feedback. Let us know if you listened to all 3 hours of this.
Jesus, that was 3 hours.
Well, 251.
Yeah, I'll take it.